Wait for the delay to kick in. 12 seconds, 13, 14, 15 seconds. Good afternoon, everybody. Loafer, Pat. Guess who forgot to press the button there? First of all, if someone can give me the thumbs up to tell me you can see and hear me okay.
Because the missus ain't logged in yet.
I can't get any feedback from behind. She's not logged in yet. Vehicle knackered off the road for 3 weeks. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Bloody hell. We got about 15-second lag on here. Cheers, Loafer. Thank you, mate. Well, what a week it's been, isn't it? How many we got in here? 9.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, with all sorts of news. This thing about the concrete and the schools. And good afternoon, Matrix. Phil, good afternoon, mate. There we got 10. And we got all these cyber attacks that are going on. Well, I presume they're cyber attacks where the police and other big organisations, shall I say, seem to be getting hacked into. Paras, good afternoon here. Good evening there. Afternoon, Dan.
You working?
Yeah. Yeah, Loaf already said in the chat.
Yeah, sorry.
But is this a coordinated thing? Because America's been getting a lot of the same issues as well, apparently. But if you're not ready for it, don't forget that the Met Office are saying that our summer begins on September the 11th. With temperatures up into their mid to high 20s. Well, it's been the mid 20s for about the last 3 weeks. Oh, hello. That's probably an alert telling me that I'm live. That'll be the first one I've had from YouTube today. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, the only way I, at the moment, still get alerts from YouTube is basically because I've got the laptop open there, which I do get alerts on. But for some reason, after whatever I did last week, it's ballsed up. The alerts have been ballsed up from YouTube for ages, but I just don't seem to be getting them on the big computer. And I do apologise for the technical hitch the other day. That was purely down to me. It looks like I pressed the wrong button. Running some form of cleaner or something, I think it was. And it basically wiped a lot of things out, my settings, my passwords. And then it done 3 or 4 updates and the thing just went mental after I uploaded a new editing suite. Simply because the other one was going to DALL-E. I think they're pushing, it's unsupported now by Windows 10. So I think they're pushing this new Clipchamp. It works, but it's harder to get used to. And a lot of the features on it, if you want the better versions, you've got to pay for them, obviously. Yes, as you know, I was down for most of the day the other day, and I've got to give a big thank you to Mrs. W behind me there, who literally sat in this chair all day sorting it out for me. So a big thank you to her for that.
Well,
I could never have done it without her.
Till you posted the video. It wasn't all day.
No, but it was most of it. You got out of bed early to do it. George Mendes. There's a new name. Do you mind if I take notes? George, you can write down what you want, mate.
You can go back and watch it later.
You can go back and watch it later. It doesn't
disappear.
Yeah, it doesn't get deleted. All the live streams are left up. Obviously, people screenshot and record them for various reasons. I'm not going to go into that on here. I never do. But it's a public live stream, so. But I will be posting the link up in a minute if anybody wants to pop up on the channel. Old and new faces, welcome. If you are a new face, I will ask you to verify yourself on camera in the back room before you come up on the panel. We don't get a lot of shit. I'll take copious notes and share them with the authorities. That's absolutely fine. Bye.
You might have only been joking, love.
Oh, they started early today.
You might have only been joking.
So, if he wants to take notes now, he's going to have to go back and watch the replay later on anyway, isn't he?
You can still watch it, you just can't comment.
Oh, dear. But never mind. Go on then, George. I've let you back up now. What you got to say for yourself?
I think it's just his sense of humour, love. And yes, Alistair was right. He was here before.
Yes, I know you are, George. I haven't blocked you again. The missus was giving you the benefit of the doubt and saying maybe it was your sense of humour. The feds are on their way. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, mate. They pass the door regularly here. It's one of their through routes. In fact, I had one pass the door earlier. Good afternoon, Sturt. The missus was right. Well, if that's what he gets off on, Alistair, that's absolutely fine. We've all got our sexual preferences, haven't we? What are your thoughts on the American Revolution? Oh, that was a long time ago. Even I'm not that fucking old. But there's like mini revolutions going on all around the world at the moment, and you know, people are fighting against people fighting against their own government. Weren't you there for that? No, not quite that old, George. I mean, some think I'm a little bit older than I am, but
During the war?
During the war, yes.
We were just ideas.
This is always right. Yep. I always have the last word, Loafer, and it's yes, dear.
Yeah, but that's my answer to you as well.
What do you think of the Sons of Liberty? Never heard of them, Alistair. Never heard of them. Oh, I was only a young one then, George. Now, as per last week, people, I have got someone dropping round later. He does know I'm doing a live, and he does know I'm going to run until probably 7 o'clock, barring interruptions. So he may just arrive early and sit in the background, him and his missus, but we'll see how we go.
How old were you when you met Neville Chamberlain?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was but a little one. Watched him come down the steps waving that bit of shit paper about. Sam Adams. Again, never heard of him, Alistair. If you're talking about America, I don't follow a lot of it from over there. I don't have enough trouble understanding our politics, let alone theirs. George Washington, did you find your fish? Chalky, good afternoon, mate. American history. Yeah, I mean, the only history that I sort of really looked into was a lot of the Native American stuff. I just used to like the way they lived their life originally. How many genders are there, Gold, Alistair? As far as I'm concerned, 2. Berlin, good afternoon, mate. Rippy, nice to see you here, buddy. Glad you could join us. And thank you for your nice comments earlier in the week. That is always appreciated. Rob, good afternoon, mate.
Am I not related, W?
Yeah. What's the Band of Brothers? Yes, that was the one with what's his name from Friends, wasn't it? I did see some of the episodes, not all of it, but I did see some of them. What's it? The devil? All right, Rob, no worries, mate. David Swimmer, that's it, yeah. My memory
Ross.
is the Ross, that's it, yeah. Since the strokes, it's like Dan, sometimes you get a mental block. But yeah, the only reason I used to ever watch any series of Friends was because there was nothing else on, and I like to watch Courtney Cox before she went do Dally and with all this Scientology shit or whatever it is she does. Who was the British ginger in it? God knows.
Hang on. I'll Google it. Band of Brothers Ginger.
I think you'll find he's talking about Friends. Or could be. I don't know.
Scott Grimes.
Scott Grimes, apparently.
Like Donald Malarkey.
Donald what?
Malarkey.
Played Donald Malarkey, apparently, Stuart.
He's American.
Sarah Ferguson. No, Band of Brothers. Yeah.
Band of Brothers.
Yeah, that was Band of Brothers, Stuart.
Yeah.
The missus just Googled it.
The first ginger I've come to is Scott Grimes, who is American. From Massachusetts. BG country.
I haven't watched it yet, Berlin. I've been having tech issues, and I've got a load of stuff to go back over and find where I've put it and how to get access to it. Do you like World War II history? Some of it, Alistair, yes. I did do a lot of it at school because back then it was recent history and a lot of it was still news.
Excuse me. Or did he mean Simon Pegg? He's English.
Or Simon Pegg as well, Stuart, was in it.
He's English.
My mum says you're hot. Well, thank you, Mum, for me, George. Unfortunately, due to YouTube restrictions, I can't get naked. Not that I'd worry about YouTube. I'd be more likely to be worried about getting the battering I'd get from behind. But right, let's see if I can get this right today. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, it was when it was a bit warm last year. Right, we'll pin that one up there. Oh dear. Pardon me. Stuart, I'm thinking of the wrong program. Yeah, they were the ones that starred in the series Band of Brothers, Stuart. Yeah, I'll pass that link on to her, mate, and we'll have a look at it. That's a man's burp. She liked it. That's what you get through drinking fizzy drinks through a straw all the time. George or Georgie? Jorge. Yes, could be Jorge, I suppose. I think that's how it's pronounced in Spanish or even Mexican.
Hence the question.
Jorge, yes. Okay, George, yep, fine, absolutely, mate. I'd rather get it right. Jorge. No, I'm not going to make any. I'm not going to say a word about that.
I thought he might be. That's why I asked the question in the chat.
It was actually the missus that picked up on that, Jorge. Whereabouts are you from? Yeah, I'm just curious. God, I've got to keep thinking there's about a 15-second delay. Well played, sir. I'm debating that myself, actually. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell. Tell me about it. And there's many of us that would like to leave it if anybody else is passing. Although some are telling us that they're already here, aren't they? But until they knock on the door, along the side of Jehovah's Witnesses or something, then well, I don't need to check that one out. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, young man.
Oh, I like the young bit. You can keep that up.
Hello, gorgeous.
And hello, young lady.
Hello, gorgeous.
Do you have a
How we go?
No.
How are we?
Not too bad, thank you, darling.
Jolly
No,
good.
sorry, Jorge. No. The spare room's now my office.
Yeah, we do have 2 spare rooms, Jorge. One is the office and the other is a dressing room and the other we sleep in. So, and you have to fight the cat no matter which one you're
in. Could always put him in the sex dungeon.
Oh yeah, but that's only 4 foot tall, isn't it? Under them floorboards. I suppose I could clear the workshop out. We could have a corner of that.
You reckon?
Yeah, like I'm going to move my tools out for somebody to live in there. Fuck that. My tools.
How are you feeling anyway? How are you feeling today, Roger? Anyway.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I've had not restless nights. I've been going up early, as you know. Literally, when I feel tired, I'll go up.
Yeah.
And I might lay awake for an hour. I might lay awake for 2. But then I'll drop off and I'm awake again anytime between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to lay there till my normal sort of getting up time, 5, 6. But then if the legs start, then I just can't lay there if my legs are on the go all the time. So I have to get up. I did last till about 9 o'clock the other day. The legs are absolutely fine and what have you. So I just laid there relaxing.
I haven't got to lay in, by the sounds of it. 9 o'clock.
Yeah. It's not very often I get one, mate. I usually get, if I go up in the afternoon and Kip, like I do on a Sunday before your lives, because they go on quite late occasionally, I'll get more sleep and deeper sleep then than I will going up in the evenings.
Yeah.
It's weird. All right, Murph, I'll be there in a sec, mate.
Yeah,
So
90.
Jorge lives in California, just west of the Sierra Nevada. Is the Sierra Nevada in California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on the edge.
Hi, Murph.
How you doing, buddy?
How come you can get on here perfectly clear with perfect sound and vision, but you totally fuck up your own live streams?
No, don't go there. Don't go there. I think it's something to do with the title of my live stream, A Beer with Murph. And because it takes me an hour to set up the studio, I've drank about 4 bloody beers before I even press the start button, and then I haven't a clue what I've done.
Or if you go into Fuerteventura, Stuart, stay away from Caleta de Futsi. It's an absolute dive of a place. It's like running round the bordellos. But it's a great place to hire a Volkswagen trike. But bear in mind, you'll be as black as fuck when you come back because of all the volcanic soot on the roads and the beaches where they take you with them.
Depends how old the grandson is.
Mind you, I haven't been over there for donkey's years. A friend of mine used to have a timeshare over there. People used to think it was weird that I used to go over with 2 women, but hey.
I've only been to Spain once, and I went to Fuengirola, I think it's called.
Fuengirola.
Or Fuengirola or something like that, yeah. We're talking 20 years ago. I can't remember how to pronounce it.
Oh, it's probably 20 years ago. I was over there. All I did was find a nice Irish bar. And if I weren't fishing, that's where you'd find me. I ended up working behind the bar and fucking all sorts. I was only there for a fortnight. But I got to say that they did have a good drag act on while I was staying there. And that was when a drag act was a comedy act, not what they're using them for now.
Yeah.
But
Adult.
it's Stuart.
Adult
Caleta de Futsi is only about 10 minutes from the airport at Fuerteventura. In fact, it's on the flight path for the runway. Nice to see a few new names in the chat today as well.
It is.
Don't know who they are, but you're more than welcome, people.
I'm not sure how long I'm going to be hanging around for, Roger, because I am tired. I had to do some hoovering earlier, and it's wiped me out.
Not laundering.
No. Well, I'm doing the laundry as well at the moment, but no, I had to do some
laundering.
I know. But I could be having guests
done it because I was that knackered this morning.
Yeah, I could be having guests in the next couple of days, so I needed to tidy up a little bit.
Oh,
I've just got rid of my guests.
Who we were talking about earlier, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I can't even fucking remember what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I won't mention any names or say anything.
Probably is, yeah.
I had a few of the old ex-mob turn up last Thursday, and literally it's been on the lash for a week. That's why I didn't even make the live stream last week. And I finally got rid of them on Wednesday, and boy, Christ, did I have that hangover from hell yesterday.
Yeah, what you did this fucking concrete malarkey in the schools.
That's crazy.
We knew that these concrete section buildings had concrete cancer years ago. The ones that they built in the 50s for all the servicemen coming home.
Do you want a coffee?
Yes, please. We knew they had that, but this stuff they've known about since early 90s.
They used it on the roofs, didn't they?
They used it
was
in the
lighter.
roofs and some
Yeah.
walls.
Yeah, it was lighter. So they used it for the roof because it was lighter. And all they did is check the walls. They didn't bother checking the roof.
Yeah, well, what I've done, I've looked into it, and because it's porous, obviously moisture can get in, and it done exactly the same as it did with the concrete sections, cause cancer in the reinforcing rust.
Yep.
And
not only that, but if you've got temperature variations with moisture inside, it'll just explode. You know what I mean?
Stuart B. Coletta de Futsi. Coletta. It is. Yeah, I mean, we've known about this concrete cancer for absolute years. We've worked on some of the buildings where you have to shore them up and re-brick them and replace all the walls and that.
Well, I mean, 4 days before you go back to school is ridiculous.
Yeah, and especially when they knew about it back in 2018, that ceiling fell in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the disruption for I mean, yeah, 100 odd schools out of how many in this country isn't a great deal, but it's still disrupting those kids' education again, and their standards have already dropped. They've seen that in the exam results this year, and I just think they're going to continue going down.
Well, they did an adjustment on all the exam results, didn't they? Because they said that after COVID, they had to do an adjustment. They made an adjustment during COVID, so now they had to readjust them now. And that's why they had to bring them down. But, you know, you've got kids leaving school who can barely read and write.
Yes, Mr. Finkel, that is exactly right. It's all about saving money. I mean, when you think about it, that concrete was invented and all this reinforced concrete building was invented all around the same time as Tupperware. And look where that went.
Well, wait until they start saying that the hospitals were built by it as well.
Yeah. Because there are other civil service buildings and public buildings that were used, that it was used in.
Well, you know, they need more reasons to up the taxes to pay for all this stuff, don't they?
Well, we can't afford any taxes, can we?
Well,
and the best bit is, did you hear the interview about the concrete this morning? The fucking expert on there said, "Oh yes, because the moisture's been getting in due to climate change."
Oh, did he? Oh
yes,
no!
Yeah. Due to climate change, the moisture's been getting in over the years.
Do you reckon they got a school for that? Do you reckon they've got a school where you're about to go on TV or radio? We have to send you now. You've got to get climate change in. You know,
it's like common purpose education, isn't it?
It's a headline grabbing statement, and all mainstream media will use it on everything they can, because at the moment it's a headline grabbing statement. Because people,
and I mean, given the left wing bias of the school system anyway, as soon as they heard about this concrete thing, we're shutting the school. We're shutting the school. You know.
Beardy, good afternoon, Mikey. Yeah, he does exist on other days other than Sundays. He's just not usually up on here anywhere.
I do come on here now and again. I've had a few where I've only popped on and popped off because I've been tired. I think today might be one of those.
I mean, I do it during the week, don't we? On Discord and that, we'll be chatting away for 20 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like, I got to go and lay down.
How you doing, Mikey?
George, Jorge, it's not who killed Kennedy, it's who ordered it and why.
Well, they can't get away with killing presidents as much these days because too many people are on the ball. So they're trying to discredit. They're trying to discredit people instead to prevent them from being able to be president.
I was going to say they pissed off that many people they won't ride around in open-top cars without bulletproof glass and bomb-proof vehicles around them now.
What, you mean like Chairman Khan?
Yeah, with his bloody Range Rover. What a fucking hypocrite he is.
Her Khan.
Yes,
Khan, yeah.
Jorge, you're exactly right there, mate. That's a nail on the head with a very big hammer. It's all virtual assassination.
Did you see the Pimlico plumber boy? You know, the pandemic. You see him? He turned around. He's been banned from Twitter for saying he wanted to kill Khan.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
This is Plumlico bloke, is it?
Yeah, Pimlico plumbers. Yeah, Pimlico plumbers. Yeah, the pandemic.
He wouldn't employ anybody and help any customers unless they were wearing a mask and been taking certain procedures.
Well, this is why he had to sell his company, isn't it? Because he fucked up.
Yeah, he couldn't get the business. Nobody would work for him.
Yeah, exactly. He had to sell it.
He come on TV, didn't it? Giving it the big one and and the other one now.
No jab, no job.
Jumped on the racist thing. I saw it earlier. NASCAR in America. they've got like an academy where NASCAR, the car racing series, puts mechanics, all sorts of people to do with the sport through this. I don't know what you'd call it, scheme or whatever. And basically now their new advertising, there's no whites. They just want every other ethnicity bar white. I can see the NASCAR dying, you know, especially down in South, because that's where NASCAR is based. And we know what goes on down there.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. If you want someone for an advert, if they can act, then fucking use them. Doesn't matter where they're fucking from, does it? Let's be honest.
Good afternoon, Reverend. How are you, my friend?
But as you say, they're going the other way. They're going completely, you know, let's completely diverge from showing any white faces to only show ethnic faces because that's inclusive. Is it fuck?
Yeah, I mean, look how it ballsed up the RAF. Yeah, I see you had another day off, Simon.
Hi, Si. How you doing,
Hello,
mate?
Rev. How are you, mate?
Yeah, that's it, Jorge. I mean, everything that's racist comes from the white. There's never anything comes back the other way, and this is what people can't understand. That something like that has got to go both ways. But we're not being heard. Only they are, because they are a minority.
Well, they used to be.
Or used to be, yeah, exactly.
You've brought a guitar, Simon. I brought one last year, and I still haven't fucking played the thing. I brought it to try and help after my stroke, to help get the strength back in my arm and stuff, but fuck.
It's been leant against the wall that long that the neck's warped. I was just looking to see if I still had that picture in me thing there with all the fingers strangled up in the strings and that, learning to play a guitar. What is racial? What is racist? Yes, Jorge. And racism has been started to be used as a weapon. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's not just started, has it? It's been going on for quite a while, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there was I can't remember what channel it was on. It was one of these late night ones I was watching. There was a 2-hour, 2-part documentary on the KKK, how they started, where they ended up, who was involved. And I've got to admit, there was some stuff in there that I'd never heard of, you know.
How to keep their sheets whiter than white.
Do you get these stubborn skins? Oh, that's another advert, isn't it? That's the Zulu silk cut one. That's fucking brilliant. If anybody's never seen that, look it up. It's an advert from back in the 70s, played by Pearl and Dean in the cinemas during the intermissions. It was for Silk Cut, and it was the Zulu advert. It's quite a long one, but I'll tell you what, it's absolutely fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Let's see if I can find the link. I'll chuck it up.
While you're looking for that link, I just want to say, some people, Lothar and Stuart, talking about water in the comments. I woke up this morning, and I've noticed it for a while, but not as bad as this morning. I woke up this morning, and where the cold tap, I mean, it drips, but it doesn't drip a lot, right? It's not even worth worrying about. It's like fucking not even worth worrying about. I woke up this morning, and it's left a black mark in my sink where the water's been dripping, and it's run down and around the plug hole, right? And it's black, fucking black. And this is stuff I wash my face with. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting. It's fucking horrid.
Right. If anybody wants to watch this, it's 2 minute long, but it is. I won't play it. It's on YouTube. I won't play it personally, but
you can't have
a question for you, Lothar, if I may. The same tap, every so often, I have to wipe the where the water comes out because there's a black gunk buildup. What could that be? Could it be like iron in the
Oh.
water, or could it be something else? I don't know.
Sorry,
It just-
mate, didn't see you down there while I
Oh.
was looking at that
What-
screen. How you doing?
Oh,
All right, you.
yeah, afternoon, Rev.
Afternoon.
Oh, your volume's a bit low, mate.
Try that. Any better?
That's better.
How you doing, Si? All right.
Living the it says living the dream. I'm gonna fucking lie. Here we are. We're all right.
Just keep on trucking.
Yeah, unexpected day off. So I thought, yeah, I love that. I planned to.
Day off. Fucking hell.
I know. Had planned to go to a boy, but well,
You've
It's
been at the
like I
gym.
said this morning, though,
I was meant to.
in Discord, I'd love to be able to get up and go to work. I just can't.
It's a shame, really, because I could let you have my truck and I could stay home and do a fucking shift there. I did use it properly because I was supposed to go to the gym first thing, didn't. So I thought I need to get a haircut. I need to buy a guitar because I can't play. That obviously makes sense, doesn't it, right? And fuck it, I'll do some content. So I did, because when you're in the truck, there's loads of stuff you want to be able to read off, and you go, apparently reading off a script whilst recording and driving, they frown upon it for some stupid
Yes.
So yeah, it's sometimes you got to read through stuff to actually get to a point, especially like the GCHQ bloke who went stabby,
Yeah, I see that one.
and the ones up north, the councillors who asked, well, the councillors
Execute them.
cities and the locals asked for their execution, and apparently that got quite a lot of support, which was nice.
I went through some of the comments that were left on that one.
It was juicy as fuck. I was like, hang on a minute. They asked for their immediate execution. Right. So yeah, but we went to the pub then after we got the guitar, so that was nice. And then Jude over there, Sister Judith, is doing so that. Sorry, love. You don't say Judith. Anyway, yeah, so she's doing batch cooking for me, so it's all gravy. And
Hello, Jude.
you haven't got a mic, have you? Shut that mic and then they can hear you. No, they can't. See that cable there? There's a silver bit. You see the silver bit?
Just put her in front of Dave's mic.
Rid of the flies.
We're in Dave's mic now.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's
How you doing, Jude?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Sister
Oh,
Hi, Jude.
absolutely brilliant.
Good. Yes. I'm cooking. So I've made 2 omelets and I'm doing 2 curries now.
the omelets to eat for now, but the curry's for batch cooking for work.
Well, I was going to say batch cooking omelets. Not
Have you seen those potato things that they sell at all sorts of fucking Asda's and whatever it is? And they're some of them got chorizo in them and potato and onion, and you can have them cold. Which
Right.
is unless you haven't got to speak to anybody for the rest of the day. Because if you have, that kind of fucks you up a bit.
They were
Oh,
great
mate, how you
omelets.
doing? Fuck off. Jesus. Oh, that bad, is it? Oh, whatever. Yeah. So I think we need to organise another piss up at mine.
Oh,
sounds
dear.
good.
Yeah. So we'll get you and the Rog, and we'll organise a few others. Pat, what?
Sorry.
Muttering
I thought-
again. We're
no,
on
I
air,
thought
love.
You could hear me. Sorry. I'm trying to get the stream on my phone, and I've got a video that you made earlier today. So
Well, at least you got that, because you didn't get any fucking notifications at all. So yeah, get Pat
Well, I
down.
got a notification, but on my laptop.
Any notification is a good one, because nobody was getting any. So yeah, apparently the video about the Notting Hill Carnival, they really did like that, including the people from that background. They're all
Yeah, I've
pitching
had
in
out
going, yeah, agree.
that picture of the guy running across the road with the machete.
Was that guy? Let me ask you a question. That guy, I saw that picture earlier today. I think it was earlier today or last night, and the guy looked white. I don't know if he was or wasn't, but the guy with the machete running across the road like that looked like a white guy. And I thought to myself,
in him.
well, I thought to myself, you know, the videos that I've seen are all of black people getting involved in this
Yes.
ruckus. and then they
You're
stick a picture of who
absolutely
looks
right, Dan.
is either very light coloured black
I
person,
would say it's mixed
or he's
race,
a white guy.
light mixed race. But nowadays, any old fucking idiot will pick up a sword and call themselves. Yeah, no, he's definitely he's got a colour to him. But don't forget the sun's right in his face, isn't it? Whereas the other
Right.
guy to the left is quite
There you
tan,
go.
and the other guy behind him is definitely very dark. But yeah, he's
Not going to leave that up for too long.
Ooh, no, but he is definitely mixed race, but at the lower end of the color scale. I see. I don't know the nicest way of putting this. So yeah, but what a lovely place. And all the locals have got to board their houses up, all right, and then fuck off because they're terrified. And their front garden there's a number 2's dumping spot, which is always nice. And then I thought it was just a few arrests, but it turned out how many? How many arrests?
280 something.
Oh, shave on.
Yeah, not many.
283, I think.
Just a small night out. But anyway, bollocks. Because apparently what it started out as is a cultural and also Christian, like God-fearing kind of thing. And what it became was exactly the same as that monstrosity. I mean, when Pride came out, those were usually quite sensibly dressed gay men coming out saying, look, we don't want to get beaten up for being gay, which you could kind of get that. Nobody should be beaten to shit.
Not more.
Whatever. All right. But anyway, it got bastardized by cultural Marxism, didn't it? And then fucking you.
Yeah, but even the Pride get-togethers now, they don't want the lesbians and that there.
Look, that watch that woman in the kitchen cooking. No, we're not even in a relationship. She's my mate. Now that. They're a fucking thing. I hope you watch this back.
Glad to see this on live and watch.
you listening, Jude?
What I said about we're talking about this. We met a guy when I was shopping, right? And he was being a bit sexist, and he was the guy saying, brilliant, fucking good quality sexism, right? And he said, this is what I say to the missus about, you know, she is the dishwasher and stuff. I made some comment, and she said, you're lucky you don't get a punch in the face. I said, you're not my missus. She said, I might take offense on her behalf. I said, oh, you're one of them.
She's standing at the door behind you. What else she's doing? She's standing there watching, listening.
Not a sense of humor, but yeah, she has. That's got a form. But do you know what she thinks? She thinks Dan's lovely. She loves Dan.
I am lovely.
Yeah, all right.
All the women love Dan.
Well behaved when you're here, ever so polite. Lovely.
Is your kettle on, by the way?
Woman.
Because there's a background noise coming from yours that's interrupting your sound a little bit.
Dave's having a hissy fit at the
Oh,
microphone.
I'm wondering what the fuck that is.
Can you hear it as well? Yeah, it sounds like maybe the kettle boiling in the background, but if it's not, it's not. I don't know what it is then.
It's like
I had everything turned off then. Oh, this is probably this fucking lovely bit of road kit. Fucking shit.
Hi, Stitch.
Oh, then Stitch.
unless it's my breathing, I don't think it's that bad. No, there's definitely like a rumbling going on there somewhere.
Yeah. Hang on. If I mute myself, is it still happening?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Let me mute myself and see if it's me.
Is it still happening?
Is it Murph?
Right, Murph, can you mute yourself?
Yeah, hang on.
There you go.
Ah,
All right.
Hey,
found the culprit.
I was thinking, shit.
Yeah,
I live in Dubai. I live in Dubai. I have to have AC. All right, the AC is on. That's probably what you're hearing.
Right.
It could be. It could well be, mate.
I don't mind. I'm happy. I don't give a fuck about the noise, just as long as it's not this piece of shit doing it.
You haven't seen my live streams every week.
I don't know. I ain't seen a live stream from either me, Rev, or Dan yet that we haven't had at least one technical issue somewhere. At least I didn't have to go through the process of replacing my whole fucking computer.
You know, the other day I was doing a live stream and they were like, "Why can't we hear on the headphones over at the sofa?" Oh, well, I don't know. There's fucking things playing up. I've only just got into it this morning, realised it was unplugged. But when you can't work it out, can you? But anyway, so there it is.
I tried to do a video, I think it was back last year, and I tried it 3 times and still couldn't get any fucking audio, and then discovered I hadn't turned the mic on.
That's when that happens, isn't it? And I blame the audio. I blame the mic.
Have you heard from Based at all recently?
I haven't heard from Base since he was down at us. He didn't speak to me since.
You got nicked?
I'd say he hadn't posted anything since he got arrested.
Oh, right.
He's not made contact since then. So,
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, he got arrested down at Penally, didn't he? Not
Yeah,
Penally.
Finale. Was it with Finale? No, the other one.
Clonethley.
but I'd imagine they'd have taken his phone.
Yeah.
That's problem number one. And even if they do give it back, he won't use that phone because I know him. He'll believe that they've.
Yeah,
tampered with it.
he'll say it's got trackers and tracers and all sorts on it.
Yeah, I'll be selling mine when I get mine back.
And in fairness, which means he's got to get another phone, and we're assuming that they haven't put some sort of limitation on him that says he can't go live and do anything.
That I think you'll find that's the reason they arrested him. The same with Little Vet was to actually ban them from the area.
No, but I'm talking about them also under some agreement banning them from the air.
Oh
Yeah, whilst they're on,
Oh,
whilst bail conditions can absolutely piss all over human rights, unfortunately, and the police can do that without fucking oversight, basically.
Fucking bullshit.
Whereas you need to go to a court to get, to have punishment put on you. Normally, the police will use bail conditions as a punishment, and I said this to Welshie before he went down there because I spoke to him on the phone. They're going to nick your Welshie and they're going to put bail conditions on you not to be allowed to go there and film it and all that kind of stuff. But
that sort of event is like curry to a piss there with Based. Right? Based loves to get in the middle of it, loves to tell the police what a bunch of cunts they are. He doesn't have any fear at all, which is fine. And he takes the risk. And so far, up until now, it's been fine. But sooner or later, it was always going to happen. And I think he accepted that. But as a consequence, he could be muted for 18 months.
Well, it was the same with Nobby. They were just waiting for him to pop up somewhere, and they follow him around like flies full of shit.
But I mean, what you need is to have a network so that you get somebody who's fresh to YouTube, who's got a new channel, and what you do is you restream their stuff.
Yeah.
That's not because they're a small channel, they won't go to them. They want a big channel. So you get somebody with a small channel broadcasting, the bigger channel picks it up and rebroadcasts it, right? And what they want to do is go after the bigger channel and shut that down.
Yeah.
Like, they won't go after the small channel and give them arrangements because the big channel will just go somewhere else. And it's not using somebody because what you're doing is you're saying, right, this is the channel we're streaming through. This is the person on the ground. Subscribe to them until you get to a certain size, and then you'll have to use somebody else.
Yeah.
But it's a way of building channels and also another way of getting stuff out there. It is a thought.
I mean, we saw it when they were down at Dover and that, how they were just picking people up. They knew they didn't have anything on them. They just wanted to put the bail conditions on them to keep them out of the area. And unfortunately, as Dan says, they trample all over our rights because they can actually do that.
Yeah.
All they're going to say is they'll go to the court and say, oh, well, if he's there, he's going to cause a breach of the peace. And the court will take their word and put the banning order in place.
They'll put somebody's civil rights in, and worry about the person who's committed crime, he's done murder, or he's abused women, whatever it is, or he's come from some other country that's war or whatever. They'll make sure they never step on his fucking civil rights. There's somebody who's paid their taxes all their life and is indigenous to that country. They'll shut away from the highest fucking height. Why? They hate us. and they're trying to destroy the country. And they don't want people like Based or Nobby, whoever else, popping up saying, actually, this is bollocks. Look what they're trying to do. Here it is. Everybody watch. So,
I mean,
Well, what they've
it's
done-
like with the
sorry, go on.
issues with these people in little villages and little communities. Mainstream media ain't fucking touching it, and that's why we've got to keep putting it out there. Until there's enough of it out there that mainstream media have got to, well, they know it's there, but they're just not allowed to use
The system is corrupt, because if you look at every single Muslim or anyone who's been in court or anything like that, every single one of them is convicted under the Mental Health Act. Every single case, Mental Health Act.
Well,
And you
we've
will
known
also
for
find-
years that no news goes out unless it comes from the authorities and they've okayed it.
Yeah.
You'll also find that a lot of incidents that are involving, shall we say, well, let's use the PC word, the refugees. Okay, a lot of those incidents, they are getting orders, anonymity orders from the Home Office. It's
Yeah.
the Home Office that's actually asking for the anonymity order, rather than the person themselves or their brief.
well,
It's
is it
the
not
Home
want to show what a massive catastrophe they've unleashed on the British?
Oh,
Office.
and they've lost control of it.
Why is it always
they
men
have lost
everywhere?
total
Men.
control of it.
Massive groups of men all over the different parts of our country, all in gangs, and you're like, where's your women? Oh yeah, you're a fucking invading army, so you're not going to bring your wife, are you? Or
No.
better still, you don't give a fuck about women and you've left her actually. Which one is it?
Well, they've left them there so they can come over here and fuck about with some of the English girls.
Yeah, rinse some out over here and get themselves a pass.
Yeah.
Don't worry about getting
Once
permission.
they've got their feet under the table, then the brothers, uncles.
But I was watching a guy today over in, he was over in where was he? Siberia. And there were some Afghans and there were some Afghans and Pakistanis there and everything else. And every single damn one of them was either Afghan police force or Pakistani police force.
Yeah. Well, you look at
an
who's
Afghan
the
army.
most that are on security nowadays at these hotels and camps.
And when you look at, say, for instance, massive projects like power lines being put into places, I went to one the other day. Guy doesn't speak a word of English. You know, he's not long off a fucking boat. He's got a 19-plate car and he's doing security. How the fuck did you afford that car when somebody who's lived in this country all their life can't? And how have you got those nice clothes? How have you got the nice phone? How have you got a nice place to live in? Why is it you top of the list? Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my country. I want a white person in that job. Why? Am I racist? No. At the end of the day, you won't come from a war-torn country. You've blagged the system completely, and you're taking the fucking piss out of us.
With the help of corrupt lawyers.
I mean, fuck them. When it goes off, right, and it goes bad, which it will because that's their plan, not ours, theirs, right? When it goes wrong, all these lefties that be going, oh, why don't you just make friends you don't understand? Will be shitting themselves, get behind us, going, protect me, and I'll be going, you're the cunt that fucking started this. Get in there, get hurt.
I'd like to see all the people telling us to be more fucking inclusive. I'd like to see all the people telling us that to go and live in an area that's full of them, to go and go be friends with them, to go down the pub with them, to all that kind of stuff. They won't.
Get a coach load of them. Right?
That'll never happen.
Take them straight to the centre of Birmingham on a really fucking bad night in a no-go area, dump them there, and hope the worst happens.
Yeah, I know a few areas around here where they could put them.
Seriously, all of these left people, I will push them out in front of us and let them get it.
But you look at that, I can't remember who it was now. One of them was interviewing a load of them in London when they were outside Parliament. Say, they were for the immigrants. And he was saying, well, would you take one into your home?
Not a chance.
And not one of them actually, they said yes, but we can't because of it. Not one of them said they would open their door and take one in.
When you meet,
I would, but I live with my mum. I would, but I haven't got the room. I would, but I'm council. Yeah.
When you meet an Londoner, I'm not talking about down here, but I'm talking about the woke ones, right? And they're in the countryside, and they go, "Oh, diversity is our strength." When's that right? Where the fuck did you come from? Oh, we were London. Why'd you move out? Oh, it was too congested. Bollocks. Why did you move out? Oh, well, the charge is, why did you move out? Well, actually, you know what? You voted for something you didn't like. Now you're fucked off, and you're going to keep talking that shit because you're still fucking trendy in front of your mates. Fuck you. Fuck the horse you rode in on. Why don't I just dump you right back in the middle of London and then see if you scream about diversity as our strength then, prick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to get slated for this going back through history, especially with what Dan used to call me. You think just after the war? Now, we had an influx, not an influx, but quite a few refugees come in during the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly Polish, those sort of people.
Yeah,
they fitted in. They fucking helped. They fought for this country. They earned the right to be here.
Yeah, the Polish came over and fought because they were now like they couldn't go back because, well, it's certain, wasn't it, right? We shoved them in our planes and they were the most daring lunatic fucking psychos in fucking Spitfire.
They couldn't fucking control them. They just wanted to kill Germans. That was it.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, if somebody just bombed my country flat, I made a mistake. I didn't know any better. I was a kid, right? And I went over to Frankfurt. And there was this one old building and it was up on stilts. And it was a sort of building with a not flat. I went, what the fuck's that? He says, it's an old building. I went, yeah, why don't they knock it down? And he looked at me and he went, it's the only old building we have.
Yeah.
You also had a lot of Italian POWs who were here during the war. And as soon as the war ended, they stayed here because they liked living here, you know? Yeah. So, and they gave something back.
When, after the war, we decided that what we're going to do is invite a load of West Indians over here and a load of Indians over here to help rebuild. Fine, great, get it, lovely, give them a chance, whatever. They're from a colonial part of our empire or whatever, great. But why did we then have to export our white people over to Australia to rebuild? Wouldn't it have been a better idea to keep our white people here where they were settled and bypass and take the others straight to the other country to rebuild it there? But here's the other thing. The grandparents of, or the people that came over here, right, they wanted to assimilate, they wanted to get on, they wanted to do well, they wanted a difference to what they come from, right? They didn't like the corruption, they didn't like all the other fucking things that made up their country. So when they got here, they used to look at the Queen with awe, they used to look at our flag and like it, and they did all the right things. And some parts of our country treated them like shit. They couldn't get a loan, especially with the West Indian guys and people like that. So they all like to climb together and fucking loan each other money and stuff like that. These people are saying, or at least their kids are saying nowadays, our folks escaped the shower of shit that you're bringing in here now. The low grade, the idiots, the criminals, the vagabonds, the ones that have escaped the law, the rapists and all the rest of it. We came here to get away from that shit and you're bringing it in. So if you're a lefty watching this, which I doubt because you'd have probably had a meltdown, shit yourself, burst out in assholes and killed yourself to death, right? If you are still watching, right, you're racist. Reasons, right, is because you're hurting these people that came over here originally because you're breaking their dream by bringing these others in. I just throw some shit.
They're human rights.
Yeah. But anyway, on an optimistic note, yeah, I mean, how many thousand is it a day that's coming in here? And now they found a way of getting over here in the winter because they've got bigger boats. Wonderful.
They just put another life jacket on.
Roger, I'm gonna have to go, mate. I'm
buddy,
sitting
no worries.
In 20 seconds doing my
Right, Dan. No worries, mate. Have a good one.
So I'll catch you later, Murph. See you soon, Roger.
Yeah, see you later, mate.
Yeah, we'll probably have a chat when you wake up later. So.
Sweet dreams,
See you
darling.
later to everyone in the chat. See you later, Heather. I'll catch you all soon.
All right, buddy. Wet dreams.
All right.
Stay moist. I mean, Jorge put a reasonable one in the chat there just then. Oh, fuck, it's gone up past now, so I can't highlight it.
You can. You need to bring it back down.
There it is.
Why fucking reparations? Tough shit. We didn't do it. Fuck it. End of.
No.
I'm not paying for something my dad did. Or my granddad did.
I mean, Japan didn't even apologize for the shit that they done during the war and before.
Yeah, it's a pass. Get over it. If you don't like it, come fucking see us.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
This is what pisses me off with this shit in Russia and the Ukraine. Every fucking report you hear, oh, that's against the rules of war. There aren't no fucking rules in war. If you're at war, you use what's at your disposal. There
In
are no
fairness,
fucking
I think
rules.
the last gentlemanly war, and
Yeah.
even that turned shit, was the First World War. And
The last time honour went out of war was when they stopped dueling.
well, yeah, but I mean, we had the U-boats that went round and they warned our ships that they were going to do it, right? So what
Yeah.
our admiralty told them to do is ram the cunts, so they stopped warning us, and that's where the end. That's the beginning of the end there. But you're trying to kill somebody. How do you do it gentlemanly?
Yeah.
The end of the idea of attrition is to try and take out more than they take out of you, basically, to a point that they can't carry on and they go, fuck it, I've had enough, and you win. That's my understanding of it.
It's like when they prosecuted our lot for so-called war crimes in the Middle East out there about the way they treated prisoners, and they'd quite often shoot them. They're getting all. Do you think the other side?
Well, that was our job. That was our job.
If you let him go, let him live. He's going to spend the rest of his life trying to fucking kill you.
So we used to have orders. We used to have, sorry, carry on.
No, but in the old days, I mean, you went back long enough, you couldn't take prisoners, you just killed the cunts. That was how it went. But a war is a war. Now, all these pansy rules that they make in, which is nice if everybody adheres to it, but nobody does. The only fuckers that adhere to it is fucking us lot. Oh, we can't do that. And then we get fucking scalped or fucking bayoneted or fucking tortured or whatever. Fuck that shit.
It's like, you were smart bombing and targeting with your bombs, but unfortunately there was 6 civilians killed, so we're going to haul you over the coals for that. You're fighting against an army that comes over here and plants fucking bombs in the middle of a population to kill whoever they can.
When you talk about war, talk about the Americans bombing themselves dressed as somebody else to fucking push a narrative. That's awesome.
I mean, when I was active, you'd see a guy pull up on his Honda Cub. He'd have his rifle over his back. He'd start digging a hole beside the road. He'd start putting something into the road and start covering up again. And we'd say, right, can we take him out? Has he got the gun in his hand? No, he's got something else in his fucking hand. No, has he got the gun in his hand? No, we know he's got something else in his hand. Can we take him? No. Just make a note of where he's dug it in.
Over in Ireland, they used to say that he had a nail bomb, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I believe there were cases where the body had a nail bomb put in the top pocket or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, they, with a yellow card, put the soldiers' hands tied behind their backs so hard that you were literally making the cunts a target.
Yeah.
We had to read the right act.
It got that bad in Northern Ireland at one point that when one company was leaving, they were leaving extra rounds that they didn't have to account for behind for them.
Yeah.
Nice. I like
So
that.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, when one side adheres to the rules and the other side literally puts IEDs in all sorts of places or shoots from behind kids or does all sorts of shit like that, how the fuck do you fight that? You're not. You're just a walking bullet catcher.
Yeah, exactly.
And not just that. Do you remember when there were cases like, say, for instance, Warren Point, and they boast about that, or say, for instance, a soldier, there was a bomb went off, he lost one of his legs and an eye, and then they're all going down the road and doing it. Well, when a soldier or a group of soldiers or a company goes and beats the fuck out of the locals, you get what you get. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's why I say you just leave them be or let them go. They're going to spend the rest of their life trying to fucking kill you.
I like it when the jet went over there alongside the SAS and started taking out, like, where they went out after there was a Loch Gaul and others like that, and the members of Loch Gaul, one of them actually was actually intelligence. I don't know how he still was there before taking over the rest of them. These people have been active and attacked so many police and so many army and that, and when they got shot on the plot, right, and they all had guns and they were all firing, right, until they got literally rid of the holes, their parents and family said it was unfair, you should have tried to take them alive. What, like the chances they gave to every other cunt? Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
And also,
It's like shouting to a sniper, "Stop firing and give yourself up, and we won't shoot you."
Yeah, no, that never happens. That never happened, I can tell you.
But the
You
South
know?
fucking good over there that the IRA started to shit themselves, and they're sending, I think it was one parrot in. Now they've actually proved, and my friend has done a lot of evidence checking. He went through the Southern Irish records. They were training and sending people up into the north to cause trouble, as they put it, and they were actually armed with Thompson submachine guns, and it was alleged. No, it was more than alleged. I believe he's got some more evidence than that. But Martin McGuinness was the one that fired the first shot with a Thompson machine gun on Bloody Sunday.
There was a lot when I mean, I've got Irish relatives. We quite often, as kids, had holidays just sort of the southern side of the border, as it were, in County Sligo, actually in Sligo itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, we used to it. But our sister used to travel around over there. Everybody knew she was in the British Army. Nobody even bothered her.
Yeah. No, it's like my grandfather was chief superintendent of the Irish Police Force. I grew up in Ireland. I served in the British Army. My uncle was the head of armed forces for Northern Ireland. I mean, how do you get any different from that, you know?
I was told that there were people in the south that actually went up to join up in the north, the British Army. When they went home there to say that they were cooks or chefs over in London, they had a job over there. That's why you hadn't seen them for so long. But
you'd go into a pub. I mean, the little pub we used to use, it was a shed, basically. You sat on beer barrels. But they just wouldn't talk about it. They didn't want to know. Because most of them there had, British in the family, like ourselves. And they just never used to discuss it. Whether they did it when we weren't there, I don't know. But
work out first off if you're political or if you're actually over here on holiday visiting relatives.
I mean, I used to go over there just to work on the farm for the holiday, but I never knew anything about politics back then. Well, I still don't know a lot, but yeah, it was always strange to me that all this had gone on and they just didn't say anything,
Well, 30 years. I mean, how much of a distraction was that to us while they were fucking us over with all these different rules and everything they've done in this country, right? What a great distraction for 30 years. And I know for a fact that most of the politicians haven't got a fucking first thing in common with the British soldiers. They're those people that go out and do stuff. That's it.
Especially not that little dick that's just started.
Yeah, definitely not. But they'll put a square in fucking seat, and that's it. I mean, while Thatcher was disgusted with certain things that went on, I don't know how fuck it. I don't know. But I mean, our lot now, they can't understand the British public. So how are they going to understand the British servicemen? Because the servicemen are loyal to this country, and they couldn't imagine that because these people are just loyal to the country, our history, our servicemen. That's politics. What I'd be interested to know is when it comes on top and civil disobedience breaks out, this is going to end up like Northern Ireland here, right? How are they going to police it? Because the British Army will not fire on their own.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Not only that, but you've got British YouTube channels now with more supporters, more subs on their channel than you've got in the whole of the British Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I've always said that if they put the army on the streets, I would trust them. Police, no.
And also, without making it obvious, look at the demographic of your army.
There was a member or members of what were close to the 14th Reconnaissance Unit, the DEP, and they were close to the SAS. But there was an army there that realised that the politics at the time of Labour government in the 70s was going to sell us out. And with the help of the loyalists and other things that went on, they managed to actually change the politics over there, got direct rule back, and fucked up the government at the time. And that was the army, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the army get to a point now where they realise that these people who are above us are trying to fuck up what we're fighting for, who knows? The potential is, but yeah, it's going to go bad. That's why I didn't want to start the European Union, because the European Union army and somebody over from, say, for instance, some like France who never fucking liked it, they wouldn't find it too hard to police us in comparison to our own lot. But there we are. I mean,
we were having the same.
Theories,
Simon, when you were doing your streams, Has your StreamYard chat been freezing?
I hadn't noticed it.
No,
Is
we've been
is
having
yours?
an awful lot of problems with the actual StreamYard chat. Not
I've had a lot of problems with StreamYard. Screens kept going off. I found out is that TV fucking playing up a lot. So connected to the fucking thing. It's all right.
no, we noticed this on Dan's last week, and I think it did it on mine last Friday as well.
I've got to be honest. I haven't seen this comment section. Go to private chat and go back to comments. See what happens.
Private chat. Oh, like it'll update itself when I go back and refresh.
I have no idea.
Um,
Otherwise, refresh the page. I mean, it won't boot you out, will it? I don't know.
Yeah, it might well do with this bloody computer.
I
If it
think
boots you out,
Oh no, it's caught up with itself now.
There you go. Simon is a tech god.
I wouldn't do that.
Thank you, Simon.
You're looking far from that.
Well, the other one, I got 2 notifications yesterday on this computer and my laptop that YouTube was doing something in the background, updating or changing something.
What about you? Every time I get an update, bingo. What's it going to ruin now?
Yeah, I mean, well, my hassle last week started when I run a cleaner. Now, normally I don't do anything like that unless the missus is here because I'm prone to pressing the wrong fucking button. But I thought, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing now, so off it fucking went. 20 minutes later, I've got no access to nothing on the computer. All the fucking passwords have changed. All my settings have been fucking wiped. So she finally got me out of that one, and then it started working like really slow and wasn't responding. So she actually got out of bed and come down early one morning and started going. She said, well, there's all sorts of things going on in here. And she spent the whole day sat here just sorting it out to get it back to where it is now.
And as soon as you get it right, they give it another update and off it goes again.
Yeah, and it's done another 3 updates since, so God knows what's likely to happen now.
I'd ideally love to be a millionaire or a multi-millionaire where all you got to do is sit in front of the camera and have the stuff put up in front of you. Right? And somebody competent can take care of the important shit, right? All you got to do is be the idiot behind the camera.
Yeah.
Like
Biden.
Well, it works for him. I mean, fuck me, I can occasionally shit myself and fall over if it works.
And fall asleep.
Well, I've done that. What used to be my flat, which is across the hallway, my mate's in there now, and I was in there the other day, and I went, oh, gee, I remember doing a live stream from here and falling asleep in this position. And he went, really? I went, yeah, it happened a lot. But yeah, there's the good and bad old days. I was fucking unhealthy when I lived there. But anyway. So yeah, good afternoon, Roger. UK Reverend Chat. Are you getting much drama and stuff in the background at the moment, or not? Because my channel's not.
No, I keep it right out of here, mate. And everybody that comes in here knows if you even want to talk about it, then they go elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't get any more now.
No, I notice you've been having a bit of a tidy up.
Thing is, because in all the time I've been doing this, if somebody puts something out there, oh, we're going to ruin him, but of course you are, dear.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't. I mean, say for instance, somebody did a video about me saying he's this, he's that. I never bother, so it goes nowhere. It does nothing, and they get bored. When you respond to them and do a comeback video or anything like that, that's exactly what they wanted. When I first joined YouTube, what I was noticing was small channels were attacking big channels for the big channels to talk about the small channels where they can get subs. And obviously, people are trying it again, but yeah, it don't work.
Yeah,
Give me 10 minutes, boys. I'll be back.
All right, mate. Yeah, I mean, afternoon, loafer, or evening, I should say. Yeah, I mean, I did have a bit of it when I first started doing my lives, obviously. But I just said, right, no, you're gone. Don't want you in here. That's not what my live streams are about. Yeah, I was involved in certain aspects of it right from the beginning, but that was only because it was directed at me and mine. So rightly so, I got a bit pissed off about it. But all this new round of stuff, I mean, they're just dragging people in, and half of it I don't know about because I don't spread myself all over the place. The only Discord I'm in is yours and Dan's. The only lives I've ever gone on, other than one, is yours and Dan's and mine. So, you know, I don't get dragged into any of it. So I sit in the background. I won't say I don't watch what's going on because I do, obviously.
I haven't got a clue. I haven't seen any of it. I really haven't got a clue. I'm like, I'll go to work and I'll come home and go to bed. And in between that, I'll do the gym occasionally, and more than, you know, but and then I'll try and get some of this done. I ain't got time for anything else.
No,
I was.
I mean, it's
embroiled
not.
in sorry, I was
It's
embroiled. Go on, Roger.
sorry, Loafer. Yeah, they just seem to be going from channel to channel, trying to drag people in.
It's
And you've got to join this side because this one said that about you, and I can't be doing with that shit.
What a lot of people do, they're bored, they've got too much time on their hands, and they like drama. Some are actually actively out there to ruin any sort of community that might be building, and you know that's what a lot of them do. You get people from the left come in and try and stir it all up. You also get people who are insane or very unwell.
Plenty of them.
And most of society has shunned them, so they decide to gravitate to the internet, which takes a little while longer to work out they're off their fucking head.
It's a sign of malignant narcissism. Basically, they've got to draw lines of allegiance between people to fucking stir up the shit, and they get some sort of vicarious pleasure out of doing so. I was embroiled in a dispute about 3 weeks ago, a rather serious one, and I don't even have Discord. The only people that have got my phone number I trust implicitly. And I was trying to be dragged into one. I said, look, what he says, she says, they said, it doesn't interest me. At the end of the day, I only come on here just to have a crack most of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It pisses me off.
I like your diction, sir. Poor yours, I tell you. And of course, right? But you do it delicately. Do you know, if I'd have used your diction, I'd probably had a fuck like more subs by now. But people like Alex, and they're like, oh, so that's YouTube.
Because I put out doom and gloom through the week when I do the videos, and you know I always talk about the bad stuff that's going on in there. To me, my Friday streams is just a catch up with the people that are in there, a friendly chat. Yeah, we discuss relevant things, obviously. You can't fucking ignore it nowadays. But
I'd like to do a piss take stream, just a stream. Do you remember how you lot? I don't know about Loafer because I can't see him, but I'm guessing by the fact that he's hanging around with this age group that you'll remember Steve. There was a Saturday night afternoon radio, and there was that. Is it
Steve Wright in the afternoon?
No, do you remember Adrian Just? And he used to do all those clippets from comedy, and he was absolutely fucking bonkers, right?
Yeah.
What I'd like to do is have a live stream where you can see our faces, and let's just be bonkers and make everybody laugh, right? And go through some of the most weirdest stuff that's come up on the internet that week, right? Go through the stories, take the piss out of everything, and just literally try to make people laugh, because it's easy to make people miserable or low, but it's harder to give people a laugh. And I'd like to do.
Well, that's what I try and do. I mean, on some of the stories, I'll find something absolutely funny about them, and I'll put it across that way. You know, I mean, like all the politicians, I end up giving them nicknames, and everybody knows who I'm talking about when I give the nicknames out, you know.
When I first started, well, there was a lot of this feminism shit going around, and I used to have fucking absolute loads of fun ripping it. And I used to shout and rant. That was part of, well, it was just getting off me plate actually, but I enjoyed it. And people used to enjoy me taking the piss whilst making a point and ranting, which is why one of my channels called Rev on a Rant. But nowadays, if you actually went flat out and said what you thought, you'd be banned.
Yeah.
So I've had to tone it down. I fucking hate that.
Well, I did. If you go right back to some of my early videos, every single one was a right rant. I used to walk up and down the brook down here with my phone, and I used to have to shut up as people went by. I used to just go mental at the phone. But that's how I was feeling at the time.
It's the world we're in, isn't it?
You know, and it was, I'll be totally honest, it was before I started looking into things a bit more and what have you. I was just reacting to what I was hearing. But whereas now I will look into things and look for the story behind the story and stuff like that.
Do you know, it's funny, right? When I'm looking, right, you've got at the moment, I'm not sure how many subs, that's none of my business.
450 odd.
There's a channel here with 357,000 subs, and at the moment, it's only got a few more watchers than yours. Just thought it's,
Yeah.
it's worth noting. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I go on quite often. I got in the habit because I just enjoy the subject. Watching some of these space launches that have been going on over the last year. And the amount of people that watch those live. You're looking at 200,000 on a live.
Right, you've got 31, right? Bearing in
Yeah.
mind how many subs you got, right? And Sky News has 118. Let's see how many subs they've got, just out of interest.
Yeah.
6.6 million.
Yeah. So the percentages are in my favour.
Sir,
Big time.
yeah, I'd be pleased with that, mate. I'd be very
That
pleased.
redacted channel gets an awful lot of live viewers. You know that channel redacted with the married couple. They get a hell of a lot of live viewers.
Yeah, there's quite a few channels like that around. But I just started off, I just needed somewhere to vent. And I'd been on Dan's for a while, but just in the chat and that. And then I got shown how to use a camera and a microphone. And Dan just said, well, you've got all these opinions on this stuff. And what you're saying is bang on. Why don't you start a channel? And between him, Heather, and watching Rev and people like that, I thought, it gave me the get go and go, right, let's give it a go. See what we can do.
I was just a bloke in a truck shouting, you know, badly edited, all the rest of it. But because I said what I thought and I was being as genuine as I could be, and a lot of what I said, people went, you know, I feel like that. That was good enough. You see some of these really highly polished channels that are cheesy as fucking people don't represent me. Fuck off.
Well,
And then
the
you-
first one was actually during lockdown. I think it was the first one. It was either the first or second one. And it was coming up to Remembrance Day.
It was during lockdown.
It was during lockdown, was
It's
it?
the first
Yeah.
Remembrance Day during lockdown.
First Remembrance Day in lockdown. I actually went up during the day and I struggled to walk up there, up the local memorial, up above the town outside the council offices. And I set the tripod up with my phone on and what have you. And I had a right rant sat in front of the memorial saying about, look at all the names on here. You know, I wish every single one of them could fucking dig their way out the grave and come back and haunt these bastards what are doing this to us now. I taunted the police saying, well, I'm going to be here Sunday and you're going to need more than your two local fucking bobbies to stop me getting here. And I went right off on one. And
You've got to vent occasionally.
left it up.
It's cathartic to vent off occasionally because it releases pressure. If you go around biting down on your own tongue, eventually you'll be rendered speechless.
Yeah. And then they pulled me down for one because of the way I posted a link to some information. The information was viable, but because I posted a link to another link, they tore me down for a week. And then the second time, again, it was something to do with a certain procedure and something that I'd found out. And I posted the actual information and they're, oh, no. 2 weeks. No, month ban for that one, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah. But since then, I sail very close to the wind sometimes, but I try and play within the rules, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but they keep moving the goalposts, so you can't always play within the rules.
Exactly.
You have to use euphemistic language because otherwise the algorithms will pick up if you use direct language. So you've got to use euphemisms and code words. It's
just
quite
like-
entertaining keeping up with it all, really.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I talk about certain groups and I use abbreviations or I use nicknames. And, you know, you hope you get the idea. Like when I'm talking about lumps of wood.
4x2s.
Yeah, wood measurements. Yeah, well done. Anyway.
Oh, Lost Souls in the chat. Hi, Holly.
Oh, fucking, I'm going to have to get him as my press.
Yeah, I
secretary.
see Mark in there. Anybody else I've missed that's dropped in there? I did notice one or two others that had came in. Good afternoon to you all. Who we got here? That's Murph back up again. Well, that was somewhat weird as well. I spotted earlier on. I don't know whether I'm right. All right, Jorge. Now I run on the free StreamYard, which I was always said you could have 6 on the panel. Yet when I went into the account, it said you could have up to 10. I don't know whether the rules have changed.
You must be paying for the professional.
No, I'm not paying for any. I'm running on the free one, the free 20 hours a month. Because I only do the Friday ones, and none of them go on more than 5 hours. So the free monthly one is fine for me.
Yeah, I fucking paid 40 odd quid for it.
Because to be honest, once or twice it has got a bit lively, and 6 is more than enough to handle on a panel for me.
Otherwise, people just don't get to speak, do they? That's another problem.
You can't get a word in edgeways. You get these people that just want to keep going on and on and on and on. I fucking know it's bad enough. I get that from my wife. I don't want to come in here and get it all.
We had a new guy pop up last week. I can't remember what his name was now. He did come up on the panel, but he was having mic problems and what have you. But he sounded like, he sounded as if he was in line and going along with our thinking, but he hasn't dropped in this week. But,
well, I'm going to jump off and go down to the pub.
Appreciate you dropping in, mate. You're always welcome.
Good to see you, Red. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you.
And then come back to one of Jude's curries.
Oh, by the way, Rev, just before you go, when Callum puts his live streams up or his premieres, I'm the guy in the chat that makes romantic overtures towards him in Arabic script.
Brilliant. You know that he's going to try and take me to Israel, don't you? In my van. Have you heard about it?
Oh, no.
Oh, my. Yeah, he's engineered a way of killing me, right? We've got to drive straight there, right, through a few countries while videoing, dressed as crusaders, right in the fucking Israel. Can't see there being any problem, especially going through some of the Muslim territories. But whatever, he thinks it'll be fun. Hopefully, we're going to come back alive. But yeah, that's about December. He's planning it if it still goes ahead.
Oh dear! What's happened to that guy? It was friend of Callum's. That was Kyle? Oh right, crikey, I can't remember his name now. Is he Is he still locked up somewhere?
Miles of, is it Miles of something?
Yeah, that's it. Lord Miles. Yeah, Lord Miles.
I think they've detected him and he's out again. So I think. But I'll have to get hold of the midget and find out what he's up to because, well, he's been so busy doing different stuff that I haven't heard from him. But
he put up a video a couple of weeks back, didn't he, on Siberia or something, or some Serbia.
Serbia, that's it. He likes a nice, light-hearted, easy-going fucking video.
Yeah. I like his style, though. I like his style, the way he just walks around the place just doing shit. You know?
Walking around Auschwitz and commenting on that. And these are the guards. Apparently, these are the bad guys. And these are, and you can imagine. And
lots of concentration camp guards were actually seconded from Eastern Europe. I think Auschwitz, a third of the guards at that camp were actually Ukrainian.
Oof. Now, also, the interesting thing to mention was 50% of the population were sympathetic to the Nazis, and a great percentage of the population for many years, and including up until lately, were still sympathetic to that. And when you look at the
history of Ukraine, I know what you're going to say. Yeah,
don't need to. But yeah, and when you look at all the dodgy testing facilities, the money laundering, the child abduction movement goes through this place and all the other shit. So say, for instance, when America can't test dirty biological shit, it sends it to places like Wuhan or Ukraine. Ukraine had 10 that got taken out alone by Russians. Now, I'm not saying the Russians are great, not at all. But I'm saying that Ukraine, when you've been fucking persecuting Russian-speaking people for the last 7 years, and how many thousands of them have you murdered? You're gonna go. And the bloke, you got fucking Putin screaming out to the international community to do something. They do nothing. What do you expect? But there again, they knew this, didn't they? They knew it was going to happen. So I wouldn't give two fucks about Ukraine. because there's a proxy war, and they've already decided, these rich globalists, that they'll be the companies that are going in after they've loaned the money to fix the place. And this is always the case when you look through 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. When there's a war after or whatever, when it's a fuck up, we send the American industry in there to fix it. They don't employ the local people; they employ their own, and they make bank out of it. So,
well, BlackRock have just restructured Ukraine's debts.
And incidentally, who owns BlackRock and who are they related to? Don't answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah. Don't need to go there. But what's happened to the millions that he's already been given?
I think this is like Jimmy Savile. With the BBC, they all knew he was a nonce, right? And nobody said fuck all. We know the people that are behind this, but we just don't even say anymore because we know. And they know that we know, but you can't say shit.
No.
I still need that point. So thank you very much.
All right, mate.
I'll see
Appreciate
you
you
all
dropping in, buddy.
Have a good one, bro.
See you later.
Enjoy.
Let's go.
Nice little rev to drop in.
There's a line from George Carlin, and I don't know which one of his HBO stores it was. He said, I have no sympathy for some mercenary civilian contractor going to Iran to rebuild it. If you don't want your head cut off, stay the fuck in Oklahoma. But basically, you know, they go in, they send their own people in to rebuild these countries. They burden them with the debt for rebuilding it, and the debt will never get paid off. It's the same way the Chinese. The same way the Chinese are doing it. Or they do it by much more subtle methods. They do it like the mafia. They make them an offer that they can't refuse. They don't go in there and blow it up first and then rebuild it.
Well, they build roads and railway trains.
What's there, do you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got these so-called Chinese secret police stations over here. I don't think they're actually police stations, but I do think, obviously, there are going to be secret Chinese police here, same as there is Russians, same as there is from every other country, including America. It's a fact. It's been known for years.
Well, it's like in the Philippines, they had to cancel their retirement visa because 35,000 young Chinese fighting age men all decided to retire in the Philippines, so they had to cancel their retirement visa.
Yeah, I just wonder if anybody in the chat here have had problems with their passport this year.
No,
a lot of people are getting turned around because their passport is still valid, but it's more than 10 years old, and they've been turning people back for having them.
It was when it was issued, wasn't it?
If your passport wasn't issued, if it don't matter if it wasn't issued within the last 10 years, they're turning you around, even if it's still valid. I don't know why.
Oh, wait, the missus has just come back from Spain after she spent 3.5 weeks in California. She came back for 2 days to nag me. She came back from Spain a couple of days ago. Now, when she flew out to go to California to see the in-laws at the start of the summer holidays, they were allowed to leave the country on account of the fact that something was untoward with their visa. That was issued, and the little boy had to get a new passport for some reason, but they didn't tie in the passport renewal with the visa renewal, so therefore they weren't allowed to leave. They had to get it hastily rearranged overnight. So I took a day off to drive them to the airport in Manchester, and then I had to pick them up again, and then I had to drive them back again the next day. That was the only anomaly I can think of with visa applications, is that if you don't tie in your visa with your passport, if you change one or the other, they don't talk to each other and they won't let you out of the country.
Yeah, I mean, my brother, when he flew out, he was going to somewhere in America, it might even have been Jamaica, but they had a stop off on the way. This is quite a few years ago, mind, because it was his first marriage. I can't remember, I don't think it was Hawaii, but they had to land somewhere before they flew on. It was like, and there was a stopover. But because of their visas, it didn't have this stopover on. They actually arrested him at the airport and held him for 2 days. He was on the way to his honeymoon, him and his missus. It was a total cock up at their end, the American end. And he ended up getting thousands from them in compensation. You know, he said the holiday, the honeymoon cost him the best part of 10 grand. He said, and it covered that easy. Yeah, it's. But I think this one with the passports at the moment is more connected to the EU rather than anywhere else. It's an EU directive.
Well, I actually think they're stopping more Brits from going to the EU now than they're stopping foreign workers coming from the E EU.
Well, you got these new rules in Spain and that you've got to have a certain amount of money in the bank. You've got to have enough money with you to support yourself. You've got to be able to account for at least, I think it's €200 a day.
Yeah.
And they can turn you back for not having it.
But they can't stop anybody getting in this country.
But
That's it.
anybody can fucking walk in this country without anything in their pockets
Oh, we'll give them money if they turn up.
because they've all been
It's
thrown
nice.
overboard, you know.
But like what Si was saying earlier, I heard it recently a couple of times since as well. They're saying when it comes to this big woke agenda sort of thing, or the global agenda, same business really, is that they're lying. They know they're lying. We know they're lying. They know that we know that they're lying.
So nothing
That's
changes.
the game they're playing. Asking us to try and defend things we've never had to try and like women can turn into men. Stuff like that.
It's got to the point now where a lot of things they're doing, they're not even bothering trying to cover them up. You know, they're openly lying. They're openly doing it because they know it's going to get noticed anyway. People are going to kick up. So let's just do it and then sort it out afterwards.
There was a weird kind of expose sort of, you know, that's the way that people often say that they have to show what they're doing in a way. But your friend and mine, Matt Hancock,
Yeah.
he did a conversation with another guy from the government or something, and that guy was actually, if you followed his credentials, he wasn't a nice guy. But they did a sort of live, or a video call at least, and it's him saying to Matt Hancock, have you got enough drivers to administer a good death? What they call a good death, which is another word for euthanasia, literally the same thing. And they're sort of like doing it publicly, and he, you know, Hancock with his like dubious eyes, he always has some sort of weird smile behind his going, as if like that he's trying not to show that he's lying. He's going, yes, we have.
It was like that time when he
enough
stood
drivers
there and
for that.
admitted that there was a lot of OAP death in the homes and the care homes. And yes, it was basically down to his decision. But he's saying that with a fucking smile on his face.
Well, it's like Andrew Bridgen when he tried to talk about it. When Andrew Bridgen tried to talk about it, a senior Conservative official
Crossed to the other side and whispered to the people on the opposing benches, "You better get out of the chamber."
Yeah, and not only that, but they turned around. This senior official turned around and said, "Andrew, stop talking about this. We're burying it for 20 years," which we can do.
That's what I mean. They stand there. They've openly lied. They've openly cheated. They openly admit it, and nobody ends up getting held responsible or held to account for it. Oh, we got away with it. Yeah, just fuck it. Let's just carry on as we're going.
No, they'll throw a minion under the bus. They'll always blame it on the lowest common denominator. They'll always try and blame it on somebody else. This is what the managers do. They're so mid-witted and they share so many responsibilities. They have overlapping responsibilities. When something goes wrong, they always look for the lowest common denominator to blame. And somebody will take the rap for it. They'll get a suspended sentence. They'll go on a book tour and a speaking tour, and they'll end up as millionaires. That's how it works. You don't remember the Iran-Contra scandal that Reagan were running? And Oliver North took the rap for it. Oliver North is now a multimillionaire.
Nadine Dorris that's just left. I mean, everybody will say, oh, will she push this, that, and the other? Well, she announced ages ago she was leaving, the same as Ben Wallace did. So, you know, there was no pushing there. But every time she's done an interview since, everybody starts slating her, and she spends the whole interview pushing her book that she's written about it all.
It's just the 17 books. These are the 17 books she's written, isn't it? The 17 books she's written while she's been serving her community.
Yeah.
Do you remember the old thing of the watch salesman on the street who'd show the inside of his coat? Like that. Even Prince Harry was up to it a few months back, last year maybe. They caught him sort of when he was meeting someone high up or something, saying, "Oh, and by the way, actually, like if you ever want like voiceovers done or something, we're doing a lot of that now," or something.
Yeah. He's killing the Invictus Games at the moment, isn't he? That's what he's doing.
Sorry,
Oh,
guys,
Hillary-
I'm just answering a message here.
He's turned round and he's just gone on to the Victor's Games, and all these guys with missing limbs or blown up and doing their best to be athletes that they can be. And he's turned around and gone, oh, when I came back from Afghanistan, there was no one there for me.
Carl won't be coming.
My heart bleeds, Harry. You're a member of the establishment. Good grief,
Yeah.
there's nobody there for you.
Oh,
You know,
Harry said that.
an awful lot of these people are actually living on the streets, are ex-servicemen.
Yeah,
They,
well, yeah.
They've seen things. They've seen things. Their minds are completely fucking blown. They can't cope with it. All the discipline and all that sort of stuff. The last thing they want to do is to go into some sort of hospital, be told what they have to do, when they can come, when they can go. They've been there. They can't cope with it anymore. They'd rather live on the streets.
Well, this is why I like what Dion and Joe have done down in Bath. All they do is they give the lads with the PTSD accommodation. The other facilities are there for them to use as and when and how they want, you know, whether it's a fire in the fire pit, sit round, have a few beers, have a smoke, whatever. They just let the guys get everything out, talk about old times. You put them in these places, and the first thing they're going to do is try and psychoanalyze them, which is going to bring up the past in the worst way.
Yeah.
You know, they can help each other. They understand each other because they've all been through the same bloody thing. Yet
Well,
half
yeah,
these people that are trying to psychoanalyze them have never been it. They've never been in the front line. They've never been to a fucking war zone. They've just learned in college what to say and what to listen to.
But you were Johnny Mercer the other day turning around and going, we guarantee that no Afghan interpreter will be left on the street.
Yeah. And how many of those interpreters were working for both sides? What better way? That's something nobody's ever mentioned, because you can guarantee there were some. But
I suppose it'd be the ideal profession to go into that sort of thing, wouldn't it? Coded
the thing is,
messages.
I can't say how these cultures and how these people are, because these places I've never been to. You know, the only places I visited other than this country was like a latter day London. It was modern. There was no war going on. You know? But yeah, exactly. We should be looking after our own first, because the way I look at it, okay, there's people out there that need help from other countries, genuine that need help. But if you fuck up your own country, how can you continue helping them in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah.
You know, you're killing the
Because
people
you're-
that are doing the helping. You're cutting off the money from the people who donate to charities to help them. They're
Just
defeating
look
the object of what they're trying to achieve.
Look at the charity donations now. They've gone through the floor. They've gone through the floor.
Because a lot of them have been proved that the money doesn't go to where it's supposed to.
No,
Yep.
a lot of money goes to administration. You've got
Yeah.
to see how exactly what percentage of the money you give to any registered charity is spent on administration fees, which is
Yeah.
basically paying
It's
people.
obscene.
And then you've got all the other scandals about the rape scandal in Haiti with the Red Cross. That was
Oxfam,
covered
Oxfam.
up. Was it
Oxfam
Oxfam?
as well, had
Oxfam or Red Cross?
Yeah.
The end of the day, I know exactly where my pound or couple of quid and a few rollers is going to. It's going to the bloke that's
And
begging
the money,
outside the
the money
supermarket.
does get to the country that it's supposed to get to. 9 times out of 10, it's filtered out through the corrupt governments anyway.
Yeah,
So it
absolutely.
doesn't actually get to where it's going, even if it's got to the country.
And now you've got professional beggars. You can't even buy a copy of the Big Issue without thinking, is it going to some organised crime syndicate? We've got the growth of Turkish barbers and everything.
Yeah.
And you've got
I mean,
these sweet
bearded
shops that
veterans
don't have
says
any
it there.
customers.
Now,
Look
that
at-
one, yes, the RNLI are struggling. They've realised why. And the other thing is, there's a lot of the staff and the crew, the volunteers, are leaving. They're not doing it down on the south coast and the east coast. They've lost a lot of personnel.
Well, with the trackers on the lifeboats, they've seen lifeboats 180 miles away from where they should be.
I mean, I've said it loads of times. They keep saying, "Oh, let's stop them, let's stop them." They've spent millions of pounds on the training. They've spent millions of pounds on the equipment, and they won't do it. They just won't. Jesus, that's a hell of a lag on YouTube. That was about 20 seconds, 25 seconds then.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Fucking hell. Never so their updates haven't worked very well, have they?
My comments are lagging as well.
Yeah. I think they're pissing about again. That might be what the updates were about. It might have been extra censorship being installed.
Oh no, I've been totally banned now.
Yes,
All the people
Paranormal
watching
X,
it.
Bath does have a lot. I used to live just, well, not that far from Bath, in Totterdown in Bristol, and myself and my partner had a little deli in Bath. So I know exactly what it's like around there. You'd see them parking their Mercs and their BMWs up the top of the town, then walking down in old clothes and then sitting in the town centre begging outside the coffee shops and that.
Did
And
you
they
see
do
that? Did you see GB News when Mark Stein used to have a channel?
I don't watch.
Well,
he's GB News, mate.
He's got curious history. I first came across Mark Stein at a Danish free speech conference. I can't remember what it's called. I can't pronounce it. It's Danish. And Douglas Murray was receiving an award. And Murray was actually, during this speech, was actually saying that the state were actually clamping down on a working class activist from Luton. And he said, and that was the first time where I actually came across Mark Stein. Now, he was on GB News and he's gone. They got rid of him because he actually showed footage of Westminster Bridge. And there were lots of very high class, powerful cars doing wheel spins. And there were 4 women there in Albanian national dress. And I was thinking to myself, these Albanian refugees and immigrants must have done really, really well for themselves over the last 5 years or so that they're actually racing around and tearing up central London, causing havoc by racing around in Porsches and Mercedes.
Yeah. I'll address this one as well from Stuart B. Yes, exactly, mate. Basically, what it is because they're volunteers, they have to leave their job on a shout. And the thing is, the shouts are that regular that they can't function in their normal jobs, so they're not earning money. Some have even been threatened with having their jobs removed from them simply because they're on that many shouts down and around that area. And that's why a lot of them are leaving. I did, someone sent me that information, or was it on one of the local rags down there I saw the other day? But yeah, I honestly think they've lost control of it now and they're hitting the panic buttons. They just don't know what they're doing. They're clutching at straws. They're trying to hide stuff. Like all this hoo-ha about the barge. I mean, that was an absolute farce right from the word go, because 500 out of the amount that we've got and that are still coming is a piss in the ocean. So that they're just a total waste of money, that thing.
And also about the 7 billion that they've given to Australia to build barges as well for us.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Build a big floating island somewhere?
Well, I mean, my point being, they gave it to Australia. Why not to us? Why not let the British people build it?
It's got beyond a joke now, and I think no matter what, it's going to cost them the next election. On that subject alone, I think that is going to cost them the next election.
Isn't it any of his 5 pledges, is he?
The excuse for not putting them on the barges was Legionella. So basically, they were saying that a bronze phosphor pump on the secondary turn had gone. You isolate it, you can swap it out in around about half an hour. So basically, you swap it out, you flush it out, and within 2 hours, hey ho, bye bye Legionella. Now get the buggers on the barge. That was a fucking pitiful excuse.
Yep. Matrix, yes, I just looked at that, and yes, they did admit to it. what they were doing, they were giving them a high dose of the normal annual flu jab. I don't need to say allegedly on that because that was proven. Go on YouTube. Go on, fact checkers. Go and check it out.
Well, I mean, I remember back in what was this, 1996 or something like that. I had a contract going around looking after all of the the public swimming pools. And one of the key things that we had to do on that was Legionella checks every week. And one of the key forms of Legionella that you had in the public pools at the time were the shower heads. So we'd dip the shower heads, put them back on. Would that be part of our job, our routine maintenance?
Yeah, but you were exposed to it every time.
I didn't, but we didn't have any because we knew what we were doing. Cooling towers are the biggest aspect for Legionella and things like that. Cooling towers were always a big thing, so I've always had to look after those. I've always had to dose them and make sure that they're all right. But the same with just simple shower heads.
That's where all the big outbreaks come from. Was the cooling towers when the cooling? Yeah. I remember that when it first. They didn't know what it was, and then they realised it took them about 3 years to realise what it was and where it was bloody coming from. But again, to me, that should be a standard detection device of some description or screening in the water system for that. But
there always was. That's why I couldn't figure out. Well, listen, we've detected Legionella in there. I went, which idiot did the maintenance on it? Which idiot actually went around and tested the water?
Yeah. Matrix, yes, I did make a note of that to bring that up. Sorry, Murph. In Huddersfield, where their uni has decided to cancel all, what do you call them, tenancy agreements with students that have taken halls of residence, shall we say. They've cancelled them all and they're filling the place with immigrants. So the students have been told right at the beginning of the educational year again, fuck off and find somewhere else to live.
Yeah, what the true disclosure on that either is that a lot of these universities now have put out their housing to private companies.
Yeah.
So that was the private company that's actually been told by the government, you're going to do this. But because it's attached to the university, it's the university that's got the bloody blame, There
you go. I was blame somebody else.
Yeah.
Yep. And if they're saying they're going to get rid of them and sort it out, these hotels that they're taking them out of and putting them in the camps, don't forget they're still going to get paid for the next 6 years under contract, no matter what that hotel does.
Yep.
Are they just going to be left empty? I don't think so.
Well, I know a bloke, he's got 3 HMOs in Sheffield. I'm his routine go-to guy to do all the basic plumbing and electrical maintenance. He's got another 3 houses in single occupation, but his HMOs have got young students in. They've got young professionals. An awful lot of them are working from home now as well, running up his gas and electric bills. Now, this guy, his dad came in 1974 from Cyprus because the Greeks invaded. Sorry, the Turks invaded, right?
Yeah.
Even though about 10-15% of the people that lived on the northern part of the island were actually Turkish Cypriots, Turkey invaded. Now, what they did is they sequestered and took his land. They might have got some of his money off him. And because basically he was Greek Cypriot and didn't have any relatives on the Greek mainland, in 1974, this customer of mine, his dad, came to this country as a legitimate refugee. He was a displaced person. Now, this guy I work for has got 3 HMOs. He can't pay his gas. He can't pay his rent. Everything's gone up because all his students are studying from home. All these young professionals, instead of going to an office space, are now working from home. So he's done everything he can to ring fence and stop putting their rent up. He's installed high thermostats so he can control the timing parameters for the heating, the gas central heating. And all that's happened is the students have gone out and bought plug-in electric fires. So now his electric bill started going up. And I said to him, I said, well, there is this organisation. If you're struggling to pay your mortgage repayments, if you've not got them ring-fenced, you've not taken any insurance policy out, the only thing you can do is to put the rent, if they don't like it, foreclose on them, and then you can go to Serco and get a load of dinghy divers in your properties. He said he wouldn't do that. He said he'd rather go broke before he did that because his dad came over as a legitimate refugee from Cyprus. And the
Yeah.
last thing he would do is sign a deal with the devil or enter into a Faustian pact with Serco. The thing is, Serco is a quango. They get their contract from the government. So once again, you can't blame the government. You've got to start shouting Serco, but at the end of the day, it's the government are giving out the contract. Where does the government get its money from? If you smoke cigarettes, if you pay a VAT on something, if you pay fuel, we already know we're more heavily taxed now as a nation than we were in 1954 when rationing ended. So basically, the government gets the money from the taxes and they give it to their friends. And possibly might be a lot of brown envelopes being passed backwards and forwards. So now they are actually coming from the middle class. They're coming for people that have got assets, that want to rent out their homes, and now they can't even make their rental properties pay.
They want the middle class. They want to eradicate the middle class.
Yeah, they want to destroy them.
Yeah, this is what they're doing now. Like they said, we got the working class where we want them. Now we need to take out the middle class.
Yeah,
And this is what they're doing. I mean, me and Heather chatted about this earlier. And literally, what they're doing is they're forcing people out of their mortgages with the interest rates. The housing prices are already starting to drop, but people can't get the mortgages because of the interest rates. They don't earn enough to cover the mortgage. And they're just forcing everybody to rent. And the only ones that are buying houses now are those that are buying to rent that have already got a nice little pile to use.
in the 1970s, when we had this economic disaster, when we had to go capping out to the International Monetary Fund in the 1970s, it ended up with the winter of discontent in 1979, you know, all that sort of shit that were going off then, heralded in Thatcher's government. Basically, you only had to have 4 times the annual salary in order to actually put down a deposit on a mortgage. Now it's getting up to 6, 7, 8, in some areas of the country, 10 times your national average salary in order just to put down a deposit on a mortgage.
Yeah.
Now, I started the stream, somebody was talking about functional autism. Now, my nephew's 28, he's autistic. He's got a master's degree in biochemistry. He's gone through A levels. He's gone through 3 years of a bachelor of science degree, another 2 years to get his master's. And when he finally came out of the university system, when he was about 26, 27-year-old, he had about £70,000 worth of debt. He's working in a STEM field. He's not got one of these Mickey Mouse degrees. He's working in a science STEM field. 28-year-old, £78,000 worth of debt, and he's still living with mum and dad. He can't afford his own place.
Yeah. But to be honest, I mean, I've always moaned that I lost my house to the ex-missus. The way it's going now, I'm fucking glad I did, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we're council here. So, yeah, it's one payment a month. We know exactly what's going on. And contrary to what they say, yes, the rent does go up every year, but it's not by an extortionate amount.
Are you still council and not housing association? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. Because a lot of these councils again get sold off to their housing, didn't they? Just gave all their stock away.
Any of this heat pump bullshit, then that's down to the council, and we know damn well that every council in the country can't afford to do that in every single one of their properties.
Oh, if we're back to plumbing again, just tell Dan, because I don't have any direct contact with him, and I still haven't figured out how to get onto Discord. It keeps taking me around in circles. If he's got black shit coming out of his kitchen sink, they'd be fucking about with the mains, and it's just dirt, and it will flush its way.
Leave it running for an hour or so.
Leave it running. If it's coming out of his basin in his bathroom, it might not be drinking water straight in off the mains. It might be tank fed. Now, if he's in a flat, it's unlikely that he's got a tank. He might have one.
They should normally. They put a leaflet through your door to warn you.
Yeah, they should do, but they don't always do it.
No.
But if he's got a tank and it's coming out of his bath or his basin in the bathroom, it might, because they've turned the water off, that the level in his storage tank has dropped. So when it's refilled, if he's not had his storage tank, his 40-gallon tank cleaned out, it'll just stir all the sediment and shit up at the bottom of that, and that's another reason why he's got black gunk coming through his taps.
I think he said kitchen. cold tap.
Yeah,
to
he
be
said it was the
honest.
cold tap, so that would make sense.
That's potable from the mains.
That's
So
potable. Yeah, that has to be by law. It has to be potable.
yeah, they've been buggering about with the mains in the street, and it's just shit that's got in. It'll come through eventually.
Yeah, I mean they had one up here. One of the I can't remember whether it was a sewer or that, but some went. And the first thing we knew about the water going off was when it went off. And then we got a leaflet put through the door about an hour afterwards saying there is every likelihood your water might be disconnected for an hour or so. But, yes, Stuart, the councils can do what they want. But it's have they got the money? I mean, we need a new roof on this place. It needs retiling. Now, it was condemned and it was supposed to have been done over 25 years ago. But because the contractor at the time fucked off, done all the rest up the street and left this one and went off and done a cash job with the materials, this one never got done. And all they keep telling me now is, oh, you're in the program to have it done. You're in the program. And we've been hearing that for 10 years.
But they actually have it as having been replaced.
Yeah, they've actually got it on their books as being replaced because they fucked off with the materials and did a private job. And they keep coming out to repair it. And I mean, I'd get up there and do it myself, but I can't physically now because I'd do a better fucking job than they've done.
There's another scam as well in microcosm. This might be we might be able to relate this how government contracts work with Quangos. There was I think 2008, all new boilers had to be condensing boilers, and they weren't selling the old-fashioned boilers. You had to get one of these condensing boilers installed. Now, if you couldn't afford one, you could apply for a government grant to update your boiler from a non-condensing to a condensing boiler.
Yeah.
I worked on a bathroom in Bawtry, other side of Rotherham, about 3 years ago, and there was a young lad there. His dad was loaded. You should have seen this house. It was an ex-council house. The young lad didn't have any money, but his dad did. You should have seen the kitchen that went in there. I put his bathroom in, a walk-in shower, a freestanding bath, very expensive tiles. But while I was there, I had to drain the heating down. Now, this heating engineer came all the way over from Liverpool, all the way over to the other side of Rotherham, to put the boiler in. They brought the wrong bloody flue. They should have brought a vertical flue going out through the roof. They brought a horizontal one. They had to come back the following day. They forgot their roof ladders. They paid 40 quid to a guy around the corner to borrow his roof ladders so they could install the flue. And at the end of the day, they shouted at me because they couldn't repressurize the heating system because I hadn't moved his tower ladder. Now, he got that from, I can't remember the name of the boiler replacement scheme, but it was granted and funded even though the lad was pleading poverty. And that crew came over, and it must have been 2 visits all the way over from Liverpool. They'll be still making money out of that. Now, if I was to do that boiler swap, it would have taken me about half a day. And even then, I would have had to have subcontracted the commissioning to one of my mates because I'm not gas safe registered. It took them 2 days. They're still making a profit out of it. Where did they get the money from for these boiler replacement schemes? The government get it. They apportion it to these fucking companies in brown envelopes. And basically, at the end of the day, it's the taxpayer that pays.
Well, they were saying now because we had our gas fire replaced a couple of years back, and it still looks like a 1930s fucking thing on the outside of the wall. And I asked because they come and done the annual safety check not so long back on the fire and the boiler, and I said, well, you know, are they doing any modern ones? What's that? He said, well, the only thing we can do, he said, most people now are having them blocked up. He said, we will take the gas out and take the fire out and block it up for you. I said, well, that would leave me with no fucking heating because we're all gas heating here. And he's like, well, you'd have to have one of them pumps fitted then. I said, well, and the council fitting them? He said, well, no. I said, well, why are you going around blocking up fucking fireplaces then?
Don't get me started on heat pumps. Basically, the whole of the plumbing has to be ripped out. You have to upsize your radiators because the target maximum temperature. I mean, if they're really, really well installed and you pay for a top end one and a good quality installer, you're looking at around about 35 grand on your average property. Everything has got to be ripped out and replaced. And even then, because they don't work, they have to heat your hot water, whether you've got pressurized hot water in the cylinder or tank fed hot water. The target temperatures aren't high enough to heat the water up to the minimum required temperature of 50 degrees centigrade to counteract the possibility of salmonella. So you've still got to have an electric immersion element to boost the target temperature of your hot tap water, not your central heating water, the tap water that comes out your taps. So basically, you've got to go back over to electric. We already know that the national grid cannot cope if everybody bought a fucking hybrid or electric vehicle. So how are we going to cope with heat pumps? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, this is why a lot of the housing projects got shut down in London and wouldn't pass, because they proved that they couldn't have the infrastructure there to put in what they wanted, like charging points and shit like that. So they refused building permission. But now, you know, since Sunak has gone back on that and said, oh, we're going to relax it. So how many more substandard homes are going to be built now because they're going to relax the building regs so they can build them quicker?
Well, it's not just that, but you've seen that they've had to slow down the speed limit across the national network on the roads by 10 miles an hour because they know that the national grid can't charge up the amount of electric that it's got now, electric vehicles it's got on the road now.
I mean, Rob says it there. You know, yeah. The average household can't afford it. Now, you can get a grant, I think it's up to $5,000, but that's not going to go anywhere on something that costs over 25. And on an old sort of building cottage like that, it'd be a nightmare. You'd have surface run pipes. You'd have radiators trying to mount at stone walls. It would just be impossible. Absolutely impossible, I'd have thought.
Yeah, basically, if you live in an old house, it's very unlikely to have actually a cavity wall so you can even get any blown form insulation in it, and the heat loss would be absolutely astonishing.
The only way you could do it is encapsulate the building or build new internal walls, which they did in 2 rooms here.
Yeah.
They built lightweight insulated blocks, not blocks, insulated timber and panels, because we got 9-inch solid walls.
Yeah.
But then we lost 4 inches all round off the bathroom and the kitchen when they did it.
So even more expense.
Yeah.
On top of your heat pump, on top of it upgrading, on top of finding room for a storage cylinder, all that sort of stuff. You'd have to rip it all out and start again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you were talking about the condensing boilers earlier on, they had to take out the cylinders then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends really. If you've got a combination boiler that does your heating and your hot water, then obviously you no need for tanks, loft tanks, roof tanks, or a storage cylinder. But if you actually go to a condensing system boiler, you still need your tanks, or you need an expansion vessel if it's a pressurized.
Expansion vessel is what we used to put in ourselves. Just put an expansion vessel in, and that was it. Take out the hot water cylinder, bang, done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got people who want to enlarge their bathrooms because invariably or in the hall, so they knock out that cupboard. So where are you going to put this cylinder if you've got a heat pump?
Yeah.
Well, that was the first thing I did with the house I bought in Bristol. It hadn't been even decorated, I would have thought, since the 50s. And it was still had the old back boiler.
Oh, yeah.
In there. Like, no, that's coming out. We're going to have a proper gas boiler. But yeah, everybody said, what you do, you fucking great thing coming out behind the fire. I said, that's the boiler. I said, fucking kid, they'd never even seen one.
I started my gas career on back boilers. Fucking hate them.
No, they didn't know what it was. They'd never seen one before, yet they'd worked on building sites with me for about 10 years. And they didn't know what it was. He said, the boilers are normally put on the wall. I said, no, not before they weren't.
Yeah.
Like the old immersion heaters, the tanks, you don't see a lot of them now.
No.
You know, only existing ones. But yeah, they were always a cause of concern for me. But my mum wants to see you smile. Do you want it with teeth in or teeth out, Jorge? I'll give you my evil grin. Yeah, the old whiskers are coming on a bit now. It's a lot less like the old 70s porn star with what I had. Trouble is, it's going to take me until I die to catch up with Bearded Veteran, isn't it?
That is one Chad beard.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I had one like that years ago. I mean, I shaved my head when I had it once, and I looked like fucking Charles Bronson. not the actor either. And it was you'd come back after a 30-mile ride, and you'd comb the bugs out onto the table to see what you'd caught. The only good thing was you could drink sour milk and dirty water because you just flipped it over and filtered it.
Do you know when I started growing a beard? When Gillette told me that I was a bad person. Do you remember that Gillette advert?
Yeah.
They're like the precursor to this mate.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
I didn't realise what a bastard.
Saved me a fortune in razor blades, tell you.
You've frozen up there, Steve. He's always have it. You froze up. There. Yeah, I mean, the first time I can remember shaving was I must have been about 14, 15. And it must have been after the school holiday because I got sent home for going to school with a 2-inch beard. They sent me home to shave. During the school holidays, it had just gone fucking haywire. So I left it. No, nobody's going to get me, Bob. Tell you that now, mate. That's one thing the missus will never have to worry about.
Thank you for the warning, Rob, but I am watching.
Yeah, she does watch what I do. She doesn't censor it, but she does watch.
Apart from that, if she wants him, she can have him. She'll have to buy his ticket.
I mean, driving around, you'd see some of these young ladies, I'll call them, all dressed up to the nines and looking good. And she doesn't bat an eyelid. No, she said you can look at a menu anywhere as long as you eat at home. I mean, we had a coloured lad used to work up the hospital. Andy, we used to call him. And he was one of these, not a muscle freak, but he was a health freak. And he was a fit lad. And he used to ride a road going bike. I think it was about 15, 16 mile each way to work every day. And we just happened to be behind him one day in the car, and he's got his Lycra on and that. And she's just sat there. She's like, carry on, love.
That was a nice black arse.
It was. Even from a bloke, it was a good shape, and he was well toned. I'll tell him that. But yeah, we don't bother about things like that. I mean, you get these guys that, they'll go and watch porn, whatever. We all done it. Back in my day, it was through magazine. You didn't have a computer to do it with. So you had to wank by stills. But, where the hell was I going with this?
I mean, 6 foot at 11, so I always used to buy the Fiesta magazine for all the lads and sell them at school.
I mean, I
Porn Baron Murphy.
I don't do anything on here. I don't do anything on here, either on the laptop or on this computer or anywhere where Heather does not have access to. Mainly because she's the only one that can remember me fucking passwords. But I mean, she can look back through my history. And I wouldn't worry about a thing. And even if she did find anything, I don't think she'd even bat an eyelid at it, to be honest.
I want to know why you didn't let me join in watching.
Yeah, well, we couldn't watch it together.
There was something earlier today on the Lotus Eaters podcast, and it was Callum and Harry. And I tell you, it wasn't the normal content. It was very tongue-in-cheek and very silly. But I watched it on, oh, crikey, what's that other platform?
Rumble?
Rumble. I watched it on Rumble. I was chatting on Rumble, and at the end, you know, they don't put this on YouTube as an upload, but on Rumble you can see what people are chatting about at the end. And somebody said, rumor has it that Elon Musk is going to buy YouTube, and just like what he's done with Twitter, he's called it X. He's going to call it X Videos. And Callum went into his laptop and typed it in. And X Videos is a porn site. You should have seen his face.
I mean, yeah, porn. I mean, you can see in other countries where prostitution is legal, shall we say, and they don't have as much problem with perverts as we do in this country, where it's illegal. You know, the government get tax off of it. The girls that work in these places get health checks, or most of them do if they're reputable, I suppose. Not having visited one myself. I have been offered money myself, but that's a long time ago.
There is a rumour going around where pornography and pot smoking is legal in Holland, which is really strange because Holland is quite a devoutly Christian country, even though they're very, very liberal with their attitudes towards pornography, prostitution, and pot smoking. There's a rumour going around that some of the windows in Amsterdam are some very, very downcast, forlorn-looking Eastern Asian and Eastern European type ladies of the night working in them now. So they're not even, you know, it's regrettable, but there's obviously an awful lot of human trafficking going on in the prostitution industry.
But even in Australia, in certain territories, they've got legalized brothels. We know about America and that and what have you, but you know, a lot of people don't realise it is legal in certain territories in Australia as well. Yeah, and I mean, there's certain things that I do believe should be legalised. Obviously, cannabis is the main thing, not because of the high, but because of the medical benefits as well, because I benefit from it.
Me too.
A lot of these people with mental health issues, cannabis just calms them down, keeps them on an equal level, and they can actually function as a human being. You know, there's so much for it, but they just look at the odd negative side, and I've never seen a negative side of it, to be honest.
It's the old studies in addiction that say the moment you get addicted to something,
you're going to go higher.
You're going to look for a bigger, better high, and that's the reason they're afraid to legalise anything at all. But they won't see the problem in alcohol because of the tax it brings in.
Yeah, I mean, Jorge says there, legalise living on your own property.
Well,
unfortunately,
they're now turning around. They're talking about Scotland, aren't they? With the amount of such high deaths up there from drugs, that they're looking at what they call clean rooms. Yeah, they can go and get clean needles and clean things like that. And they're saying
that's been around for quite a while. That's been around here as well. You've been able to go to certain places and get supplies, shall we say?
But it's hard drugs, not a bit of weed.
But that's hard drugs, you know.
Yeah. It's not working out particularly well in San Francisco, is it? Giving out free needles. Basically, it's not done anything to counter the rise in drug use, particularly.
In America, drug use now, you've only got the worst one I've seen, and I look at one or two of them, is Philadelphia at the moment.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them as well.
It's just absolutely fucking falling apart.
Where do all these hard drugs like opiates and fentanyl come from?
Well, a lot of the new ones they're using are manufactured.
Yeah. Right. You can manufacture fentanyl in your back garden.
Yeah.
I just saw it strange that, you know, all these years and years in Afghanistan, they were targeting, caves high up on the mountains and everything. But you'd see British squaddies and American GIs wandering through opium fields, and they didn't have the flamethrowers out, did they?
No. No, because the opiates are used in the medical profession as well.
Yeah.
Plus, if they'd been burning them, they'd have never got to the other side.
Yeah, paranormal. I do exactly the same. I don't sit here and put a bloody great reefer together or shit like that. But to stop the twitches and the cramps in my nerve, I'll quite often roll a single paper, normal Rizzler size, with just enough in to settle that tremor down in my muscles or spasms, whatever I'm getting at the time. And that little bit works, and that keeps that suppressed for about 5-6 hours sometimes. You know, and I'm not smoking full weed by any stretch of the imagination. I'm getting enough from what they call the clip-ins and the sweep-ins, which is a quarter of the price. But I get what I need from that because I'm not looking for the high from it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for it to, because I haven't been given any pills by the doctor that have actually worked and been able to stop that. But that does. And I have told me doctors and the 2 consultants that I was seeing that I do use it and what I use it for, because obviously it's going to show up in blood tests and that. And I haven't had one of them that has objected to it. All they tell me is we can't advise you to.
Yeah.
But if it works for you, who am I to say stop, you know? But you have to fight tooth and fucking nail through the NHS to get it on prescription.
It's good for epilepsy as well.
Yes. What's the other one where they get the tremors and
Parkinson.
Parkinson's.
yes, there was a guy, he couldn't even pick up a cup. And within 10 minutes of having a smoke, he could write a note out, he could make a cup of tea, he could hold things. Yeah, it just makes it ridiculous that it's not legalized.
Does anyone know the difference between legalized and decriminalized?
How old and oh, hey, if you've got a good woman, you doesn't need to, mate. Yes, Jason, Parkinson's. A lot of people get relief from it. Suffer from Parkinson's. I don't know anybody personally, but I have heard from 1 or 2 that have.
I think with decriminalised, Steve, it's a case that if you're caught with it on you, they'll just take it off you.
Mm-hmm.
If it's decriminalised, then it'll mean that shops can open up and start selling it.
Yeah, I mean, if they legalised it, I'd be quite happy if it was written in the law that yes, there are certain places where you can go and get it, but you should smoke it in your own home.
Yeah, Thailand have just legalised it, haven't they? And Thailand have said, right, okay, you can buy it, but don't let's catch you smoking it on the street.
Exactly. I mean, as the law stands at the moment, if I'm sat in here having one and I've got the windows shut, that isn't against the law, believe it or not. The moment I open that window, that is classed as smoking in public.
Ah.
And that is, I got given that, and I only got that because only once in my lifetime, and bear in mind, I've been smoking the shit for years, and not for the right reasons at the beginning either. When I got a copper knocked on the door, I was staying at a friend's house, I was house sitting, and they smoked it themselves. But a neighbour complained about me smoking it in the garden. And so I got a knock on the door, locked my mate's Alsatian out the back so he didn't rip the copper to pieces and let the guy in. I thought, I know what it's about. I've got none on me. Only a little bit in a grinder because I was only there for the day. And he come in and sat down and he asked for me details. I banged to rights. Yeah, I was smoking weed in the garden. I'm not going to make any fucking bones about it. He confiscated what I had in my grinder, which wouldn't even touch what I do with now. It was that small amount. And
but Roger, did he demonstrate safely disposing of it? Did he say, "Come with me, sir"? And did he throw it down in his fridge? Or did he put it in his pocket? Did he put it
I made sure I got a receipt for it, mate. He put it down to a police caution. And I was saying, well, I was in the garden. I'm on private property. And that was when he explained, and he did actually show me it. He got his little book thing out. And I was quite surprised that if you've got your window open, it's classed as smoking in public. Because the fumes and everything can actually drift into public. But he totally sympathised with what I said. He only gave me what they call a police caution, which is a telling off. It doesn't go on your record. I said, well, I don't give a flying fuck, mate. I mean, you know I smoke it. You got me details. I haven't hidden that. But yeah, that's the only time.
Because that was the rules of the property.
Yeah, I didn't want to smoke indoors because that was the rule. They didn't even smoke cigarettes in the house because there was kids there. So it was always out in the garden, away from the kids, But yeah, I was quite surprised to find that one out.
Yeah.
There's a valuable lesson that might be a subject, another subject, segue into, as long as you're doing it behind closed doors and you don't involve children,
Yes.
shouldn't be able to
I'll be totally honest.
streets.
When the kids are here, the grandkids, no, we do not smoke it. We do not roll up in front of them or anything.
Yeah,
You want to do that, you go out in the back garden while the kids are in here.
I used to have a shed.
Yeah, well, I did, but it's that full of clutter now that I can't even get in there.
Yeah.
I got one
my shed-
single
my
size
shed was
garage,
like that.
which is full of fucking mountain bikes and other stuff, mini motos, wheels, and all sorts of things. Then I've got my workshop up the top, which was originally just tools and 2 workbenches. But since the pandemic, it's now got, I think there's 2 mountain bikes in there. There's one hanging from the roof. There's all the fishing tackle. And you open the door and you got to move stuff to walk in,
Oh, right, yeah. And then I built one that was big enough that it was more of a bar than anything else.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the weed thing, I mean, the neighbours around here know us. I've openly asked them when the new people moved in next door. They've been there a year or 2 now. I openly said to them the first day, I said, I hope you don't mind, but I do smoke a bit of weed. And that was a woman with a son and daughter. They're both grown up, or late teens, early 20s, whatever. And they didn't have a problem with it at all. No. There's an ex-vet that's got a couple of motorbikes, a couple of doors up. He doesn't worry about it. The other side, they couldn't really give a shit. But yeah, and that's the only time I've ever had contact with the police through weed.
That's because they had problem neighbours.
I was smoking it from the age of about 19, maybe earlier, if I'm honest. But that's the only time I've had contact with the police through it. But I don't know where they want to go with it. They've always talked about it. It's always been on the table, making it legal. But that's as far as it ever gets.
Somebody ought to pop it in a joint and light it.
Yeah, maybe we should go to Westminster, give them all one, and sit there and make them all smoke it in the chamber. Maybe they change their minds.
Well, if it's
Yeah,
on the
man.
table-
Yeah, let's open it. Yeah, you can plant what you want, man.
if it's on the table,
You can't get anyone you won't get anyone ever to make a decision like that when they've got subsidised bars. They've got subsidised bars in the Houses of Parliament and the House of Lords.
They don't live in the real world, mate.
No.
They don't live in the real world. They don't even know what's happening in the real world because
Of course they don't.
they're shielded from it. Even what news they see, they're shielded from it. They've openly admitted that. And
Yep.
that's what annoys me the most about that slimy little bastard Roland. He stands there and comes out with all this shit that literally is going to oppress us. And he does every single bit of it through that smarmy fucking smile.
Yeah.
It's permanent.
Dubious eyes. His eyes are not sure at all, are they? When you see him, he's
Yeah.
smiling like,
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
You
how
can trust
can
me.
you stand there and smell that shit when there's people in front of you telling you that they hate your fucking guts? A mayor of London that has got to go round in an armoured car because he's terrified of his constituents.
you're a man of the people.
I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? You know what I mean? When the mayor's
Well,
got
you
to
see,
drive around in
what
an armoured
makes it more of what makes it worse is that Ken Livingstone used to go around on buses when he was the London mayor, and old Bozo used to cycle into work every day when he was London mayor. None of them needed protection.
No, it's it just proves the point. I mean, London is lost. I absolutely is lost. I don't class it as a capital anymore. I haven't done for a while. But I'm going to give half-hour warning, peoples. My mate did get in touch with me. That was the message I was answering. So I won't be shutting down before 7. So I will call a halt to it about 7, obviously.
No problem.
As usual, that gives everybody a chance to have a break, have something to eat before they go on to their relevant evening streams that they go on wherever. But yeah, what we got in the chat, though. To be honest, guys, sorry, I haven't been watching a lot of the chat. When I last visited London, I thought I was in India. When was the last time I went to London? Fuck me, it's got to be more than 20 years ago.
When was King Tut's treasure over here?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been since.
It's got to be. I've been round it because I've been to Gatwick and what have you a few times. All right, Holly, no worries, darling.
Went to the Tate Modern.
Well, I just had mates of mine moved back from Dubai, and they've been in London all their life. They moved back to Dubai. I said, "Where are you moving to?" They said, "Eastbourne." And I said, "What, Eastbourne?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, because it's quiet down there." And I said, "Okay." I said,
Eastbourne is a retirement centre for London.
Yeah.
The only reason I ever went to Eastbourne was for the fishing competition every year.
Right. You're going to be the youngest in town. I said, "You're going to be they're 50." And I said, "You're going to be the youngest in bloody town. Eastbourne's an elephant's graveyard." You know? But their sister,
I do
his
like
sister's moved down. His sister's moved down. Her brother's moved down. The mother has moved down. The whole lot of them, the whole family have just en masse moved to Eastbourne.
Well, I'm one of these. I just don't like cities at all. I was born and brought up in rural areas. I've always lived more or less in rural areas. I did live on the outskirts of Bristol for a little while, and I didn't like that, so I moved to a village on the outskirts. Here, we're on the outskirts of Birmingham, I should say. The town centre is probably a 25-minute bus ride away.
Right.
Now, a few years back, when I was recovering from the bypass and that, obviously I was claiming benefits. Because I didn't know how to use a computer, they sent me to a college down in the city to learn how to use a computer, basically. Now, I used to get off the bus in the city centre and walk the 1.5 miles to the college. I enjoyed the walk, seeing some of the city. But I'll tell you what, I'm buggered if I'd do that now. And that's only about 5 years ago. I would not walk through there now, even during the day.
Yeah, damning indictment.
I want to know what your dream car is.
Jorge wants to know what any it's always been my dream, Jorge. It's never going to happen. 1, because of the price. 2, because in this condition, I'd want one, which would be original. They are absolutely fucking lethal. And that is the original AC Cobra 427 Ram Air.
Oh, yeah.
You've got all that power running on 4 drum brakes. No power steering. I've actually driven one. And I'll tell you what, they are a ball ache to drive, but I'd still love one. It's always been my dream car.
I'd like one of those old Yankee drop tops.
Cadillac. Caddies, yeah. But
Yeah.
I've had, Jorge, I quite often show the pictures up on here. One of my favourite ones was me Pontiac Firebird. That was a 77 with a 455 big block transplant in it. I've owned a couple of Dodges. I've owned a couple of Mustangs. But unfortunately, in this country now, unless you're earning a big wage, you just cannot afford to buy or run something like that, even on a regular wage. The RS 500, Rob. Yes, that was an absolute corker of a motor. My brother had the Sapphire Cosworth. He'd never let me drive it.
Don't blame him.
He's also got an Audi R8 V10 now, and I've never been allowed anywhere near that.
Again, don't blame him.
Well, it was ever since I destroyed the tyres on his Mercedes.
My mate had a Sierra, and it was a Sierra Estate, and it was a diesel. It was just fucking beautiful. Everyone, whenever you parked up somewhere and went inside, people would go, "What the hell did you arrive in, a tractor or something?"
Yeah. I mean,
You
a
hear it,
mate
it's
of
sort of-
Feather's son used to quite often pop round here, and he was running a Mark II Escort full rally trim with a twin cam on proper throttle bodies. And I was convinced it was a Cosworth engine. Sounded the perfect. But when it was a Vauxhall Red Top. Which Mustangs? One was a Mach 1, Jorge, and the other was a Grandee. And the only reason I bought the Mach 1 was because it was in the original film of Gone in 60 Seconds, and I absolutely loved it. I had loads of Capris, and literally that's because it was designed on the Mach 1. I sold it on, Jorge. All my American cars went because I just could not afford to run them, especially running a Pontiac that wouldn't do more than fucking 9 miles to the gallon. And that was only on one of the carburetors. If I fitted the twins, I was fucked. It went down to about 3.
Rog, have you heard of a car called a Proton?
Yes.
I used to have one of those. It was the worst thing in the world. I thought it just sort of like contrast with your Pontiac Firebirds. I had a
One of the
Proton.
original Korean ones or Asian ones or something.
It was Japanese. It was half Japanese, half Malaysian. They had a cheesy slogan on the back that said "Japanese technology, Malaysian style," and the thing had no steering and no brakes. And Jesus Christ, fucking awful.
Bit like modern day Peugeots.
Death
Not
Trap,
of the
it was.
Mach 1, Jorge. I do have one of the Pontiac, though. A lot of my pictures got lost. I've moved around over the years. Where am I looking in this? Let's see if we can find it. I mean, all the other guys have already seen this because I have shown it before. I'm getting better at this. Right, come on up. Whoosh. There we go. That was after the transplant, Jorge. It was running the 400 cubic inch, and I put in the 455 after I blew the other one up.
You broke it.
And I broke it big time. Mind you,
I
it
used to
was
have
at
them as
about
like Matchbox toys.
146 mile an hour down the A34. And just to prove that that was my car, there's a picture of me as a young man actually with the car. And funny enough, that was down on Pendine Beach before I run it down the beach at nearly 140, 50 odd mile an hour, whatever it was. Scared the fucking bejesus out of me, that did. Bejesus, I should say. Driving at that speed on sand with wide tyres is just not healthy, and it shouldn't be done, and it won't be repeated by me ever.
I've got a Land Rover, Toyota Land Rover L70, which is the industrial models that are used by. You can only buy them in Australia and here, so you can't actually get them. They're a twin cab pickup, but they're 4x4. Because I'm literally driving on desert every single bloody day. So if you any other car than a 4x4, and you're knackered.
Yep, I mean, the time I took it down the sand, it was quite funny because I was only down there on holiday. I towed a caravan down there with it, to be honest. And I just wanted to go down to the beach for old time's sake, I just wanted to take a couple of pictures, as you know, there was a lot of history there for cars, obviously. And I tried to get on the beach, and it was all blocked off. And it was something like a vintage demonstration day and parades, and you know, some of these vintage cars were going up and down the beach, obviously at speed. So I thought, oh yeah, great, okay, can't get on the beach, but I'm into this, so park the car up somewhere, go and watch. And then they announced anybody with a BDA license, BDRA license, the British Racing Drivers Club license, if they wanted to run their road car down there, you could apply for a proper timing ticket, like a nostalgia thing. So there's guys with Cosworths and Escorts and that going down there 60, 70 mile an hour. I goes down there and no, I'm not fucking about. That was when I realised that you can't accelerate on sand. You've got to build the speed up gradually.
Yeah, that's right.
And when you get to the end, it takes 3 times the amount of stop as it does to get up to the fucking
It
speed.
does.
And you have absolutely no control over the fucking thing from point A to point B whatsoever.
For those people that are in StreamYards, I've just put a link in there. It's a guy, a political economist called Mark Blythe, and he compares the European economies and the American economies between the Mustang and the Volvo. He says the American economy is a bit like a Mustang. It's great if you're going in a straight line, but as soon as things start getting bumpy, they're a bit unreliable. He said on a podcast, I think it was Trigonometry podcast, that Kessin and Foster, you might have heard of him. He was on that a few years ago, and he says, this is the thing, I own a Mustang and a Volvo, just in case. That's an interesting thing to get into if you like your political economics. This is the guy, the Aberdonian, very dour Aberdonian bloke. You know what I mean? So basically, when I was growing up in Aberdeen, I had two options in life. Either join the army or go to prison. But I became a political economist. He lectures at Brown in America now. He's a really, really respected political economist. He predicted Brexit and he predicted Trump. So he's pretty clued up. So if anybody's interested in watching that, I've thrown it in there.
Cheers. I will watch it after. Yep. Mustang and a Volvo. Yeah. In America.
Yes, Jorge, the Mustangs are a lot better nowadays, and believe it or not, the most popular one over here that's available new is the GT 500, and they are quite cheap, or they were over here. You could pick a new one up for 35 grand, and that's with the 5 litre in it.
Good luck with the insurance.
Yeah, I'm filling the tank.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob. The police in Dubai, the supercars that they use, and Italy does the same, funny enough, are the ones they've confiscated off of people. Italy has got a couple of Ferraris and a Lamborghini. And we did in this country. Some of the police forces did buy the RS 500 Ford, the rally car, the homologation version, for patrolling motorways. And they had a few Scoobies and Mitsubishis as well, Evos.
The ones that they got in Dubai, you never ever see. They keep them there for shows and things like that. They don't. Yeah. You don't ever see them on the road.
Publicity purposes.
Yeah. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But the Italians actually use theirs. And they're the ones that were confiscated off the mafia and the drug dealers. And
the latest thing they're doing out here in Dubai now is they've got drones. And they send drones up and they spot you speeding and then just automatically issue you a ticket.
So they get a lot of shit out there with what they call that drifting in the desert, and the straight line fishtailing
right.
shit.
Yeah.
And the 4x4s out in the dunes and that.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's good fun. I mean, once you get off the main drags, and I mean, everywhere in Dubai here is a straight road. You know, the Sheikh Zayed road goes from Ras Al Khaimah all the way through to Abu Dhabi. It's one straight road. But once you get off left or right and you get into the desert, you've got dual carriageway roads there that there's no traffic on whatsoever. So the kids and everyone goes out there, and we all go 4-wheel driving at weekend in the desert, things like that. It's great fun going camping. But I mean, just the day-to-day driving, it's just driving straight. You're just driving a straight line everywhere because it's built on the American grid system. So, like, you turn left, it's a straight line, or turn right.
Yeah, and they just go out in the desert and just end, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And a lot of them I've noticed when I have watched the videos are ones that have been started being built and then just abandoned.
What they've done is they start to build. They build all the roads, thinking that they're going to build houses there, and then they don't build any houses. So they put all the lighting in. They put, they build the whole housing estate with roads and everything. But then no one ever builds a house there.
Yeah. There's several places in this country that are like that. I watched a video yesterday. There's like a little cul-de-sac. I think it was 30 houses. Every single one of them worth more than 300,000.
Yeah.
They've been built, but haven't been fitted inside. Some of them haven't even been plastered, although all the fittings are there, the bathrooms, the kitchens and everything. And apparently about 20 years ago, the company building them went bust. Someone bought them out, and it's just been left and not finished. Brand new houses.
There's been an awful lot of that in China, apparently.
Yeah, China's huge on that.
Well,
So
in
you probably
China,
know more about them than me.
they've been moving them into all these big super blocks, haven't they?
Well, the whole city's there empty.
I heard that it was a sort of thing that they were getting done where the big rush from a lot of people, especially probably the middle class, because China's got a burgeoning middle class up until now, interestingly, the way they're trying to demolish it here and all that. But what they did was they made it somehow possible for everyone to invest in one of these new builds, and the stock was just going through the roof. So everyone was sort of really happy because they just get it, and it was like instant money. But they're all sort of not being lived in and stuff. It's like, enormous ghost cities, maybe.
And huge stuff.
Good afternoon, Missy. You're late joining us. We're not going to be going much longer. Jorge, what you been doing then, mate?
I had to go to China once and to go to a steel factory, and I was out there, and it's just after the Olympics, and they moved all of the factories out of the city for the Olympics coming in. So I had to go down to the other end of the country, and I said, "Where am I staying?" They said, "You're staying at this hotel." And they opened up this huge, massive hotel for me, and I was the only person staying there. And they had only opened it for the time that I was there for me to stay in. And it was, and I said, "What was this built for?" And they said, "It was built for the Olympics, but it'll never be used again."
Yeah,
I've driven through the city.
Some things in there. Alistair, the reason Steve leans forward is because the microphone he's got there isn't very good. And he's very quietly, softly spoken anyway. So when he starts to lean forward, we know he's going to say something,
But we know he's a headbanger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to start shouting from back here instead.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
Not everybody has the luxury of a powered microphone, It's but it depends what you want to do with your system, innit? I started off with one of those little things into my phone, and that was it. And I think my first microphone cost me about £2.85. Well, that one only cost about 24 quid, so it's not expensive kit. I mean, yeah, you get some of the guys who go out and pay 300 quid for one, but yeah, I can't see the point. Just going back to see whatever. I've seen those abandoned mansions with all the sports cars. Yeah, you go to places like Dubai, Mr. Fink, and there are bloody warehouses full of them, aren't there, Murph? Abandoned supercars and
Well, they've got the government auctions here. You just go along and all these cars are covered in dust, but you can pick up anything and everything.
And I believe from what I looked at, basically it's when the business taxes or business, something to do with business, people were leaving Dubai and they couldn't afford with what they were telling them to do to take the motors with them. So they
That's
just
right.
abandoned them. Ryan Jorge, thank you for joining in, mate. It has been good talking to you, believe it or not.
There was something like 10,000 cars left behind when the pandemic started.
All right, and Alistair, take care, buddy. And there's Brian. Good afternoon, mate. Evening. Just dropping in at 10 minutes towards the end.
Stragglers.
Does this mean I got to start at 5 and finish at 8 in future? No, actually, this timing does work a lot better than the other one did, starting earlier. Yeah,
I usually have to work on a Friday afternoon, but my car's been in the mechanic's garage for the last, as of tomorrow, 3 weeks. Poor communications and everything. Thing
well,
is,
I
it's,
knew the Rev
in
might
demand.
drop in, but because he said this morning that he's got the day off unexpectedly, so I thought great. I mean, some of the funniest streams I've done. I mean, the funniest one was just me, Rev, and Pap. I mean, that was fucking hilarious. Rev was getting over from a fucking hangover. I don't know quite what Dan was up to, but it was just. I'm hoping the next party one comes off and that I can get down there. I know I don't drink, but it should be quite a giggle, to be honest. Don't know who else he's going to have down there. Probably
Should be good.
Yeah,
The last one's good.
Yeah. Alan, Dave, hopefully. Obviously, head of the table will be Alan, Dave the plant, but and his assorted cohorts that he's got around him now. But I don't know. I always have fun with him. He's such a and he does bring up some interesting issues, you know. Like he said, he's been getting a lot of shit on his channel lately, so I think he's been having a bit of a clear out again. But you said you'd never been able to get on the Discord, Loafer.
No, but my old desktop, it crashed catastrophically and it had Windows XP. Don't laugh. So I went from Windows XP to Windows 11. I managed to back up an awful lot of my files on some external hard disk, all my audio books, all my music and my heavy metal videos and everything. But when I try to get back into Discord, it just keeps giving me the runaround. It says I'm already registered. What is your bloody password? It's a nightmare.
All right, Brian, no worries, mate.
You when you lost your password.
Hey?
This was the problem I had when you got locked out.
Yeah.
And we tried to log you in, and ended up having to do it via the phone. But I'd set up new accounts and everything. Totally understand where you are, Loafer. Totally understand.
Yeah, what it is, you apparently, whether anybody else is in here that's a bit more, Brian might be able to tell you. Because you didn't log out of it or you hadn't been thrown out before, your account is still being held in there.
Right.
So you're trying to log in from what is essentially another computer onto that account, I think, something like that. I mean, I lost every single password with whatever I did the other day. It totally bollocksed everything up. And there was all sorts going on in the background. But as I say, luckily enough, my good lady there spent the whole day in front of it with me cursing and swearing and bugging her from behind, which wasn't appreciated. But and I know I got her back up a bit once or twice because I just don't know enough about it. Where
It's not
she
working
does.
properly. I know it's broken, but it's not working properly. I know I'm trying to fix it, but it's not working properly. Shut the up.
Sounds like a petulant toddler.
I am.
Well, it
I'm
was.
terrible.
It
And
was.
then I'll be sat behind her with the laptop open there, which is working perfectly, saying, well, it fucking works on here. Why ain't it working on there?
I'm trying to fix it.
But even now, I've got Google open there. I've got 2 alerts pending there because this is another thing I've got to sort out. My laptop, I get all my YouTube alerts on. But for some reason, I can't get them on this one. But I know YouTube messes around with me, but surely I'm on the same account there. So if it's doing it on here, it should be doing it on there, but it doesn't. I've been through all the notifications settings, through Windows, YouTube, and there is nothing set up on that one that isn't identical to the way I've got this one set up. Yeah, I don't get YouTube alerts through this one, which I
I
find
never
very
get
strange.
notifications from you, Rog, even though I click notify
Oh,
me on
I'm
your
shadow
phone.
banned. I've been shadow banned right from the beginning, mate.
I got your notification today.
Yeah, they'll send the occasional one out. But the shadow banning started after I first, because my subs rose quite quickly. And then all of a sudden, they started to leveling off and just coming in drips and drabs. Well, I knew for a fact that I was getting more subs than they were showing and telling me because I was getting emails from people that had said they'd subbed. But they weren't showing in the channel. And that has continued all the way through since I've ever started the channel. They've always done it. They mess around with the viewings. A couple of times I thought they were messing around, and I've looked into things and looked into the background, and I've actually held my hands up and apologized to YouTube for a couple of things. I've accused them of doing something. Well, it isn't down to them. It was down to me and the way I'd set it up. So, I'm fair that way. But it just seems that most of the fucking around that I'm getting now is coming from them. But, again, with YouTube, they mess around so much. You can't prove that it's them. You can't prove what they're doing. And if you did have any legal issues with them, nobody has got the money to go up against them anyway. So,
That's true enough.
We've just got to put up with, unfortunately. And it's only going to get worse. The censorship is only going to get worse.
Once the online safety bill comes in, you're damn right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is stuff in there that should work for our favour.
Yeah.
But that is not how platforms are going to interpret it.
No.
There's a lot of good stuff in there, which I am 100% behind, like protecting the kids and harmful content.
Yep.
But just because you disagree with an idea or an opinion, that should never, ever be censored. Because that's how things move on, through people's ideas, through people's opinions. Everything that's ever been designed is designed through someone's opinion and someone's idea of what can be done and what is possible. And that is what they're trying to shut down, is personal opinions. It's dumbing down the population. It's openly obvious. I mean, I've been seeing it for a few years. They stumble from one drama to another, and they can't progress because they can't get anything right. They won't do anything they say they're going to do. So it's just stumbling from one mess to another. And that's how it'll carry on until society breaks down.
I think it used to be in the will of the people in the old days. People really used to sort of have a pride in the country and all know what they were working for together about and stuff, and also respect each other's freedoms. But now there's very little unifying the whole thing.
I was always told by a very wise businessman who was a multi-millionaire, only ever borrow money to make money. Don't borrow money to improve your lifestyle.
My mother told me that. She was a housewife.
Yep.
She said the only everything you take out on credit is a mortgage because it's something eventually you will own and something you can pass on to your children. If you work hard and save and you still can't afford it, you don't deserve it.
No.
Yep.
I was told that at a very young age. Only ever borrow money to make money. And that's what the government do. They borrow money to try and make money. The only money they're borrowing against is ours.
Yeah.
You know, could you imagine how much the law would come down on you? And they do if you go in and try and take out a loan on somebody else's name. Yet they get away with taking these multi-billion-pound loans out in our names.
And they very, very nearly hit the credit limit the other week, as America has also done. It's had to raise its credit borrowing limits.
Oh, we're way above our limit, mate. We're way above it. The banks have told them that.
We're 100 trillion.
And it's when the banks foreclose on them loans, that's when the big control switches.
Well,
There was another way of actually investing. You could buy US government debt, treasury bonds.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You ever seen the opening scene to that movie, Heat? They're actually not going after money. They break into that security van and they steal a load of American treasury bonds.
Yeah.
A bit like cash. If you own them, you know, you've got them. They can't really be tracked one way or another. Otherwise, they wouldn't have stolen them. But the thing is, US treasury bonds are taking a hit at the moment because people are losing faith in the American government. So they're ditching treasury bonds and going into investing in alternative assets.
Yeah, I mean, America will turn around, and if America finds itself too much problem with their treasury bonds, they'll just turn around and tell the American banks to buy them. And that's what they've done in the past. They just tell them you buy it. But yeah, it's a case.
Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I've just had the first rumble in my belly.
No problem. We'll take this up next week.
Bang on 7 o'clock. Do you want to play a quick number, Steve, on the way out, or?
If you like, I'll keep them to sort of like a bit of a third of a song so it doesn't get too boring. Yeah. I had one in mind.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's become a nice way to end the stream as we say goodbye and that. So
Just
to
let
all
me
you
know.
guys
Nice
in
one
the
to
chat, we've still got 22 people in the room. So thank you very much for taking part today.
I won't tell you to watch my live.
It's been enjoyable. Murph will probably attempt to do a live tomorrow. So if you want to go over and laugh at that, feel free. There is a link to his channel underneath all my videos. You never know, you might be the first one to see him actually get it right. But thank you all for taking part. Those of you that have got spanners, thank you for being there. And for those that do attend, Pat, don't forget this week is members only. It's the first Sunday of the month. So if you want to join in on that and you're not a member, it's going to cost you £1.99.
Ooh, Sunday. What date will it be? Sunday. Where's my tinfoil hat?
I don't know. My whiteboard's been put over there because I thought we were having visitors.
Well, it's the first today.
Well, it's the first today, so it's going to be the first Sunday, isn't it?
Ah, right, yeah.
All right, then, guys. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. It is very muchly appreciated, believe me. If you haven't hit the like on the way in, please hit it on the way out. I don't usually moan or complain about analytics, but apparently it does help. So I will say good night. Good night. Goodbye to everybody. You guys in the panel and those that were on the panel, thank you very much for taking part. Always a pleasure to have you in here. And I will leave Steve to play us out. Take it away, Steve.
Stay safe. Stay strong. Stay free from the
You
fear.
want that? Stay safe. Stay strong. Stay free. And I actually cut me in the fingernails today for that.
Thanks, everyone. Sometimes you cry, sometimes it's a phone call that will save your life. A small empty voice breaking. Brace yourself and hold on to me. You trust me relentlessly, taking on the future, not about to lose you. You trust me, insanity, ride the storm before the calm. Sometimes it's real, sometimes it feels like your brain recorded live. Sometimes you might forget to breathe. Use my lungs and breathe in with me. Trust me relentlessly, taking on the future, not about the future. Trust me, insanity, ride the storm will come.
Well done, mate.
Sweet.
Well
Thank you very
done.
much, people. See you all either Sunday or next Friday. Take care now.
Take care. God bless. Bye bye.
Right, have we ended that one? That should be end.
And everybody's bailed. I'm going to go and get